Hey, we're
Hey,
live.
maybe.
Maybe, yeah. I
I
think
don't
we're
know.
live. I'm gonna double check while you say hi to the nice folks for me.
Hi, nice folks. My name is Matt, co-owner here at That City Comic Professionals with my lovely bride Shannon.
Hello.
Shannon usually does the live stream every week. This week I am on it for a myriad of reasons.
It's live.
So are we.
Yeah, we are live.
So are we. Yeah, I'm on for a myriad of reasons this week. Number one, the one that you probably assume I am on the live stream for is because my favorite character got a release of a new book. And we have some store exclusives, which you guys saw on the stream if you joined in last week or you came by the shop this Wednesday for our in-shop signing with our wonderful artist, Adrian Prudhomme, and colorist Austin McKinley. That was amazing. But that's not really the reason why I'm here. Because the reason why I'm here is because this is the last week of a live stream that we are the Mad Cave store of the month. And thank you, Mad Cave, for having us. And so I wanted to come on and say thank you because Mad Cave has been incredible to us.
They have been absolutely wonderful. Shout out to Anna from Mad Cave, who is in charge of retailer services and has worked with us all month long to put together so many events. Anna asked me back in like October if this would be something we would be willing to like help her launch this year, and I was like, absolutely, what do we have to do? And she's like, I'll get back to you. And then she got back to me and was like, would you want to do an event with basically every single one of the Mad Cave imprints? And I was like, let's go, let's do this,
figure out a way to do it.
And it was wonderful. We got to we had a scavenger hunt with Silver Vessels and an interview with Steve Orlando.
Yep.
We got to do an in-conversation via Zoom with Gabriel Valentin from Digital Lizards of Doom for their paper cuts imprint. And then you just had an experience that I will let you share.
I did. It's not out yet. We were just recorded on Thursday, but I got to meet with the creative team of the new Dick Tracy book, which we're going to talk about this evening, on Zoom in conversation with Joe Staten, who was the artist on the Dick Tracy comic strip from 2011 until 2021. So 10 years, a decade long on that. And it was fun having the new team get to talk to the, I guess I could say old, but it's not really old because it's the strip, but the strip team talked to the new comic team. And it was very fantastic. That's going to be on YouTube later here down the line, just like your conversation with Steve
Gabe.
Orlando and Gabe.
Mm-hmm.
The Steve Orlando one is already up. It's on our channel. The one with Gabe has not come out yet, and neither has the Dick Tracy one. But those are exciting things to come in May. So anyway, thanks Mad Cave, which is great. But and the other reason why I'm here is this is one of my favorite bottles of wine. I really like this. This is a $16 Cab Franc that you can get at a Total Wine, and Cab Francs are my favorite. And
this is Mascota Vineyards La Mascota, and we are using it right now to toast to Mad Cave, to toast to all of those amazing creators who gave us the chance to talk with them and to do fun things for kiddos, and to Adrian and Austin and Anna and everybody that helped make Mad Cave Month amazing. So this is for y'all.
Hell of an April. Thanks. Oh my God.
It's just so magical.
It's so perfect. It has it's not too light-bodied. It's not too heavy-bodied. It's not too floral. It's not too sweet. It's not too bitter. It's just right down the center.
It's just right down the center.
And if you do like sweet reds, though, you probably won't enjoy this. But if you like nice, big, full-bodied, jammy, delicious wines, but you don't want it to be overpowering.
Yeah. And it's smoky and coffee, which are the notes that they claim, which is of course why Matt loves it. And it does 12 months of aging in American and French oak barrels. So guess what? You do like a barrel aged wine.
Oh.
Wow, new and exciting. While Matt takes a moment with that, I also just want to give a shout out to everybody who came out for our educator seminar this week. We had our annual Teaching with Comics education seminar, with the Patterson Foundation that we host during Remake Learning Days. It was an absolute wonderful experience. We got to hear what a lot of the teachers and librarians in our neighborhood are doing. We had high school teachers, college librarians, preschool teachers. We had people of all age groups talking about what they're doing and getting to have those conversations. And then we went through a lot of details on ways we use comics and ways we can continue to grow that experience for kiddos and college age kids. And so just to get to have those conversations was really great. And I am so happy to have been in the presence of all those amazing educators. There's so many cool things that they're doing, and I love to be able to partner with them, but also I love to just get to hear what they're doing when we're not there. And then, of course, we had our Educator of the Year here with us for that. I'm going to keep saying it, even though he's going to keep asking me not to. But Jason Wall from the Imagine School North Manatee, who is just an absolutely amazing teacher. He's been working with his students. They've run a pop culture comic club, which has over 70 members at this point, which is crazy that he's got middle schoolers and he takes like 70 of them into the world of pop culture, and he teaches with comics in his classroom, and he hosts a Comic-Con at the school, and he's taking 45 of those pop culture classroom students to Disney World.
That's incredible.
He's good. I'm like, you are amazing. Like, he's like, I'm going to take them all to Star Wars land. Like, we're only going to Hollywood studios because they all want to go to the Star Wars thing, and it's just so cool. So shout out to Jason again for that and for just all the wonderful things that you're doing for your students. And then yesterday, continuing our Remake Learning celebrations, we had our Academic Avengers Family Fun Day, which was so cool. We had a great experience with playing so many games. Our obstacle course was a huge hit. So many of the kiddos did it multiple times. We actually got to see Marty from the Marauders come out and do the obstacle course, which was really funny to see Marty try to do the whole cans activity where he had to put on.
If you guys don't know Marty from the Marauders, he is the mascot for the local single A team for Bradenton, which is the Pittsburgh Pirates single A team. And so when the Pittsburgh Pirates need somebody, they call them up from Bradenton. When they don't need anybody anymore, they come down to Bradenton, which is exciting for all of us. Or if they get hurt, they come down. Marty is the mascot, and he is a giant pirate.
He's a giant pirate, and he is a barrel of fun.
He is a barrel of fun. So it was great to see that. It was very fun having him out here. And we had Spider-Man here, too. Yes. Getting to talk to all the kids and do the activities with them. And I know Spider-Man and Marty had a great time together. I had a great time with Marty and Spider-Man because costume characters are my favorite, which is why we're in comic books.
We also had the wonderful Hannah of Hannah's Enchantments out here. She was helping kids. They created one giant story that was on a flip pad, and each person, adult or kid that came in, added another line to the story. And it was great because it was all going really well and really calm, and then Marty added in that the person in the story met a pirate named Marty, and then it just went downhill all over the place from there because suddenly there were pirates in this everyday story. It was amazing.
And shout out to Anthony Pizzo for coming out too.
Yes.
And helping us run our Dogman drawing game, which was super fun. And has been a hit now.
Oh yeah, it's our new most popular game is the Dogman Drawing Challenge. And the Patterson Foundation was out signing kids up for this book. Book is cool. If you have somebody who is pre-K through third and you're in the Manatee County area and you want to help them get some books to keep them reading and avoid the summer slide, the Patterson Foundation's program, This Book is Cool, will actually send your kid 20 free books in a backpack and that are age appropriate for whatever grade that they're in to help them have something to read for the summer. So that is a free program completely to parents. I believe they will be back here this next weekend signing people up for that, but you can also go to the Patterson Foundation's website and sign your kiddos up for that. And it's amazing. It's so cool that they do that on top of funding 387 events in 4 counties this year for Remake Learning Days. 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks worth of events in Manatee, Sarasota, Charlotte, and what is the other county? that is in that strip that I can't remember. The other one. Sorry, DeSoto. I was like, I know this.
We're not there.
Yeah.
It's not our county.
It's not our county. I remembered ours. So it's amazing. Thank you so much to the Patterson Foundation for helping organizations, schools, whatever, put on all of these amazing events. And check it out. They have a website that you can find for Remake Learning Days for just your area. It's the Suncoast Remake Learning Days.
Maybe we'll drop it in the comments after the
so
the
people
stream's
can find
over.
some
Yeah,
fun
so
events.
people can find it and do things for your kids. It's free events for kids, which is amazing.
And they help with education and things like that. They're all geared towards some kind of learning.
Events for your kiddos is fantastic.
And speaking of fun events for you and your kiddos to do together, this Saturday coming up, May 4th, is just this little tiny small
the other
little
reason
event.
why I'm on the stream.
It is free comic book day. Woo!
It's comic book Christmas. Now, I had a lot of people ask me. They were like, "Oh, I guess I should have waited to pick this up because it would have been free in your shop next week." No, that's not how it works. Free comic book day is an event once a year. Free Comic Book Day specifically is an event once a year where all the publishers give us the opportunity to buy a bunch of comic books and then distribute them as promotional items to you guys. But they give out a list each year of what those books are going to be. There are a lot of the hot new titles and kind of things that are and just hot new titles and hot properties. Mm-hmm. That's the word I'm looking for, that are coming out from the publishers, things that are going to launch in the next year. You get preview issues or that just finished. Mm-hmm. You get preview issues. You get full comic books. There's a ton of them. It's a mess. There's like 30 comics or something like that, right? There's a ton of them, and they are all ages.
Yeah. There's like full 60, 50, something like that. There's a ton. There's
a ton of them. They got all ages of comics. If you got 3-year-olds, they got comics. If you got 15-year-olds, they got comics. If you're 55, there's a comic for you too.
If you like manga, there's manga samplers.
There are. So. They even read backwards. Full-size comic that read backwards. It's super cool. But that said, every single comic book store, or at least the ones that participate in Free Comic Book Day, usually throw a big event. So wherever you are at your store across the world, theoretically, one of them has a Free Comic Book Day celebration going on. What's really cool is people bring out artists, they have food for you maybe they have big sales going on in their shop. Usually every store celebrates it their own way and we're able to do it, but we order all those books for you guys so that you guys have some books. We're going to have a massive celebration here. It's Comic Book Christmas. It's the big day of the year for comic books, and which means it's the busiest week of the year for us, which is another reason why I'm here. It's very exciting.
We've been posting announcements. I have not even posted all of them yet. I still have at least 5 more to go. So we're going to post those tomorrow, and then we're going to post a full reminder of everybody that's coming. It's too many to fit. It's too many to fit on an Instagram post, dude, because there's so many.
I finally made one, but everybody's really tiny on there, but you're going to get it anyway.
You're going to get it anyway. Yeah. And it's great. We have so many from Gary Barker, who is the cartoonist who's been working on Garfield since the 80s, to Anthony Pizzo, who we just mentioned, who will be out here doing sketches for people of your favorite characters. So hit him up. Adrian and Austin, who we mentioned, who did our Dick Tracy exclusive, will both be here. Not only to sign the Dick Tracy exclusive all over again, but because they have their own art of other things to show off and sell you and you to fall in love with. We also will have TV Artworks. Tim Von Kloot is going to be here, and I believe he's bringing some prints, but he may also have some more of his Ninja Turtles exclusive.
Local Bradenton artist with the Ninja Turtles book, which is super cool. So,
and he did this with Lightning Comics. Shout out to Lightning Comics for setting up a really cool exclusive.
You should have some of these. We've got them at the shop too. You can get them signed.
Oh my gosh, there's still so much. There's so much. But there's what's the important thing? The one that's really, really your favorite thing in the whole wide world. What are we giving away for free thanks to the Good News Grillers?
We are giving away free, theoretically, cheeseburgers and hot dogs.
Yes. So there will be free food courtesy of the Good News Grillers. We're so excited to have them out bringing you free food, bringing Matt free food. He's very excited about possibility of free hamburgers. It's going to be great.
Either way, I'm glad that they're feeding all the people, which is incredible. I love the fact that they're doing that, and they're going to be feeding you guys, and you guys can grab a burger. You can meet some amazing artists. All of our artists also, we have a CGC witness here on site, and as facilitators, we can get yellow labels for all your books. So everything that you get signed here, as long as you let us know before you get them signed. Yes. Please, on the day of, hey, I would like to get this signed and graded. Well, we can hook you up with that, and we can get you one of those fancy schmancy signature series yellow labels on whatever you have. There's actually going to be 7 possible signatures to get on a book. So you can get 7 signatures across one of your books, which they also, CGC, as a shout out, is going to be doing a raffle, or we are going to be doing a raffle, and we are going to be giving away, I have it right here.
Thank you to CGC for making this for any comic book store who wanted to participate.
Really super duper cool. We're going to be giving this away. This is one of the free Comic Book Day books this year. It's a Johnny Quest that you guys are going to be able to pick up. And they are, move it here into the center a little bit. Perfect, yeah. So this CGC book is really cool. It's got this cool little label on it that says Free Comic Book Day. If you guys want a little memento or souvenir of your Free Comic Book Day experience, you can get one of your books graded with this Free Comic Book Day label and signed by everybody just as a memento of your experience. Could be kind of fun for you.
And this is the first year that they've had a Free Comic Book Day label, so it's cool because you can get the first commemorative Free Comic Book Day label.
First little label.
And it does actually say, it just says first Saturday in May, so it doesn't actually say the year, but yeah, that's cool.
That's super cool, because that means you can get it for any of your old Free Comic Book Day books, too. It's eligible for any Free Comic Book Day book that you get, but we're also going to be doing a raffle for this that day, which is exciting, and or you can just pick up your own Johnny Quest book, because there's a Johnny Quest book out from Dynamite at Free Comic Book Day, so you can pick that up, too. And you have an opportunity to get 7 signatures while you're here, which is very cool.
Yes. There's going to be so many incredible things going on. So come on out. It's going to be great. Sign up for a library card with the Manatee Public Library System while you're here.
That's here, too. Oh, and we have the book bus.
The book bus,
the Shelf Indulgence book bus is going to be here. Our plan is that they're going to be in front of the store. We're going to park it right in front and block the whole front of the building. And then you guys can just walk right up there and get on the book bus. I haven't been on a book bus since I was
It's so cool.
Little.
They're going to bring so much good stuff. They've been telling me all about it. If you haven't been down to their brick and mortar store down in Sarasota, it is a indie bookstore and cafe. So go down there, grab yourself a fun drink, and buy some books and support them. But they will, or just come here on Free Comic Book Day and shop the book bus because they will have that out there. It's going to be so cool. You're going to be able to sign up your kids for the Bradenton Marauders Kids Club during the event. And Costumers with a Cause will be raising money to help with childhood illnesses and cancer, so to help prevent that. So please stop by their booth. If you take a picture with the cosplayers, please make a donation to help them with that cause because it's super incredible, and we're so excited to have them raising funds while they're here.
It's really cool.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. 11 to 4, Saturday, May 4th. And then when you're done, go get some dinner at one of the local restaurants here in the Old Manatee Historic District, and then pop over to the Bradenton Marauders game because it is Star Wars night, and they are giving away the dopest Darth Vader Star Wars jerseys at the game. It's going to be super cool.
Giving them away.
I think they're giving them away.
I think so.
I think they're giving them away. Either way, you can buy one, you can get one, whatever. Just go to the game. And it's a fireworks
night. There's also, we have a ticket link that you can buy your ticket through us, and I think you get a free hat maybe.
Yes.
And then we get a kickback from it too, which is super cool. So you're helping our nonprofit and helping all the things that we do for kiddos here, and you get a free hat. And you get to see a baseball game, and you get fireworks, and it's Star Wars themed, and you can wear a Star Wars costume if you want.
There's actually lightsaber battles before the game starts for kiddos. It's going to be awesome.
I love this town.
I know, it's so great. And honestly, like so many of the Marauders staff members are huge Star Wars fans, so they put a lot into this event because they're so excited about it. So come on out, celebrate. It's going to be incredible. But you know what?
We've got a ton of books. The other thing also to stick around for tonight is we have not one but 2 unboxings that we're going to do live, right? We got two unboxings that we're going to do live tonight. And this is a wild show, man.
It's crazy.
That's why I brought out the bottle of wine that I was saving and didn't necessarily want to drink on the live stream. I was trying to keep it to myself all this time. But, hey, we're drinking it tonight. Also, Yeah. So are we going to kick it off?
We're going to kick it off. Yeah, we're going to kick it off. I'm just laughing because our good friend Ashley from Segunda Vida, which she just did an amazing thing this weekend to help clean up the neighborhood. She had a trash pickup, which is awesome.
Super cool.
She actually just posted that she is both exhausted and amazed listening to us talk about all of that. Ashley, we're always amazed by you and everything you do to like take stuff that you find in the community and make it more beautiful and just continue to build out our community into a beautiful space. So thank you for all you do, Ashley.
And speaking of beautiful spaces, if you haven't been over to Segunda Vida, it is a beautiful shop.
So
you walk around in there and check out everything that Ashley and Oscar have done over there, because it's super cool.
And it's on like the Atlas Obscura like travel site is like one of the places to visit when you come to Bradenton.
That's
so
wild.
You should definitely
and it's
put it up
literally a walk from here, and you can get a coffee while you're walking over there. You know, do the whole thing. It's a cute little neighborhood we got.
Right. All right. We're gonna talk about some comics because there's so many.
There are so many.
And we're gonna kick it off, and I'm gonna pass this to you, honestly, so we can talk about this together. This is labeled as the best new jumping in point for this series. So this is Something That's Killing the Children.
It really is.
36.
I thought it was.
Yeah.
It felt like a jumping in. If you guys are looking to jump into this book, I guess I should do this. Huh?
And you're not looking to spend $1,000 to get issue 1 or whatever. This is a great place to kind of just, like, we didn't talk about any of the lore. You just kind of start right at the beginning of the story. And I was like, I can do that. Yeah.
I can't signal
I know
you.
can't
Normally
signal
I Shannon to pull the book away. I can't do that.
I was like, I don't know what to do. So, you're sitting right next to me.
Right.
So this is one of those where Erica Slaughter, if you don't know, she's our main character. Something is killing the children. And she's just an all-around amazing human who has been fighting against monsters that are literally killing children. And she works for a secret society that's not really where she wants to be anymore. She doesn't really necessarily want to be in the society, but she does want to help the children. And so over the last 35 issues, Erica's kind of gone off on her own. And this puts us back in time to a place where Erica's just helping a kid. We're not in the middle of the story anymore. This is just like the songs of Erica Slaughter, essentially.
Yeah, it's kind of just one adventure that happened a couple of years back, and you really get to see what the whole point of Something's Killing the Children is, kind of retold the way that Erica finds the monsters that kill the children, and then she goes and she kills a monster, and there's a little bit of fallout, and there's a little bit of heart, and you just get to see what the whole thing is kind of about and see if you like the property. I really enjoyed this. Mm-hmm. It's called The Road, I think, Part 1 or something like that. Road Stories. It's at the
Road
end.
Stories.
Right? Isn't Road Stories?
It's something like, Road Stories.
Road Stories Part 1. So this is going to be cool. I think while Tiny, and he's obviously got a lot. We're going to talk about another book of his this evening.
2 more books of his.
Holy cow, we are.
Yeah.
While he's working on everything else, it's kind of nice to just have these and without worrying about getting into a whole new big arc of where this kind of thing is going to go. And let's just see some stories of her hacking up some monsters and being cool.
And if you are reading the thing and you want to stay within like the current story arc that you're like really into, read House of Slaughter, because that is actually building right now with your old dragon and everybody. It's building up where you're going to go. This is biding time for that butcher war that's happening in House of Slaughter to really break.
There's
because
a butcher war?
What is and
see, I'm only reading this one,
and it is going to be. I've always said, like, you don't have to read House of Slaughter to read like Something Is Killing the Children. I promise you the arcs that are going on in House of Slaughter right now are going to be quintessential. This has gone to take the back seat to just give you some more Erica, while all of the big action is what's happening over in House of Slaughter. So you it's opposite now. Like, this is going to be just like one-off kind of situations, and that's your big movement. If you want to know like what's going on the actual House of Slaughter and whether or not it really is coming for Erica and crumbling, you need to actually be reading House of Slaughter right now, because you're getting way more of what's happening in that world in that book.
The other reason why I'm here is because a lot of my books are out. So
pretty much all the books that Matt reads are out in 1 week. Once Upon a Time at the End of the World, issue 14 from Boom Studios and Jason Aaron. And the next issue is the final issue of this book, and I am not prepared for how badly Jason Aaron is going to destroy me. This has been one of my favorite series. Yeah, Nick Dragotta on art has just been really crushing it this last 2. He didn't do the first volume, I think. He came in on the second volume, and oh my god. But if you haven't read this is the story of Maceo and Mezzi, who were 2 kids who found each other during a post-apocalyptic world. And Mezzi was trained to be a wasteland ranger. She was trained to survive and be cruel and hurtful during this apocalypse. And Maceo was not. Maceo was living as an inventor child, like prodigy, in a tower where he had like a ball pit and a water slide and all the things that he had built to keep him entertained while he was surviving on his own. And over the course of the last like 13 issues, they had built a world and we saw it crumble. And if you have read this book, you know that issue 1 opens with them in this desolate stage as elderly people trying to figure out why they hate each other. But yet, over the course of those 13 issues, Jason Aaron built one of the most realistic, beautiful love stories ever. These two found each other, they fell apart from each other, they rebuilt from each other, and they're constantly doing that. And in this issue, they finally address what it was that broke them apart. And I bawled like a baby. It was so beautifully done and so real. Again, it's so realistic. It's just all the things that a real couple actually deals with, but in the middle of a post-apocalyptic world where everything is chaos and destruction. And it's kind of Jason Aaron saying, like, no matter where the world goes, like, human nature is still going to be the same, and we're still going to kind of fall apart and need somebody in the same way. This is a beautiful book. Eisner Committee, I know you're already paying attention to this. I'm sure I don't need to tell you to, but, like, we need to be talking about this book. And I think next year we're going to be, like, really talking about it after this last issue comes out, because whatever Jason Aaron does in issue 15 is just going to destroy us. World Tree. This is issue...
The only book I've never read by James Tynion. Yeah. I have read every single other James Tynion book.
Except for his really old ones, like
Except for the really old stuff. Yeah. But of the, of the current ones, current things of the last like 5 years.
Yeah,
I've read everything, but I haven't really.
Well, this one is off the wall. Honestly, like, if you haven't jumped into this yet, I'm almost at the point where I'm like, wait till we get another trade and do trades for this, because this is a lot to retain in your head. This is the story of a bunch of people who realized that there was something called the Undernet, which is the dark web on steroids, essentially. And they, while they're doing it, they find out that basically, like, they can control people's mind, people's minds can be controlled and contaminated by this dark world. And they think that they've created a world tree, which is something that they use essentially to keep the Undernet from getting out to people and from harming people. But now, years and years later, they're all adults, they've all moved on, and now this Undernet has gotten out again. And nobody knows how or why, but it is definitely just destroying people. We're starting to see people who are affected by it kill other people. We're starting to see just these, like, mass murders from it. And so they've come together and are trying to fix it again. But, they don't all have the same, like, altruistic experiences anymore. And they're not the same people they were. And death and danger and darkness just are around every corner. And we're going to see if these people actually put it all back together again, and can put themselves back together again, because what they've seen has destroyed them. And at this point, they've taken the internet down entirely across the entire world, and yet something is still letting that darkness get out. And everybody's like, how is this happening? Because the whole thing is, it's the internet. And it's like, what happens when the internet becomes essentially sentient, but only the dark sides? So we've created a monster, and now we've unleashed it, and there's no way to put it back in the jar.
Cool.
We're going to see.
Sounds like real life.
Sounds like real life. Ooh, we're going to go IMAX for a minute with The Forged. Issue 7 from Image Comics. I always get really sad when Greg Rucka says, I'm not going to work on Black Magic right now because I have other projects. And then Greg Rucka's other projects come out, and I'm like, never mind. We can take a break. This is amazing. And this is one of them. This is all about a group of women who are soldiers. They're what's called the Forged, which they're basically forged just to go to battle for the Empress, who has, like, all these clones of herself who kind of just do her magic bidding and things like that. And so this group of women have found out that a lot of stuff is going down in space. But not only that, they've found out that the people who are supposed to be protecting the Empress and, like, on her, in command, like, her cabinet of people, are not who they say they are. And so she is, they're trying to stop it. And because of that, like, they're now getting sent out on this mission, in this new arc. They're getting sent out on this mission that is going to probably end up in their deaths. But they're, like, one of the clairvoyant witch alkalades, essentially, yeah, that's the word I think I want, of the woman, of the Empress, is like, hey, you can't let the Forged die. Like, if these women die, like, they're the key to everything. So they've got to survive. And it's like, okay, but they've already sent them off on this death mission. And so it's like, ooh, are they going to survive? It's a gorgeous book. I'm not a major, like, when you get too extreme in, like, the sci-fi stuff, you kind of lose me sometimes. this does not lose me. Greg Rucka's great at balancing wherever he's at, in whether it's fantasy or sci-fi or whatever, with like these real world elements. But yeah, we should show that. Like, yeah, it's just, and it's a beautiful book. Troutman on art is just doing a fantastic job of giving you these IMAX scenes. Troutman.
Okay.
Is giving us these really cool, beautiful scenes. It's an absolutely gorgeous book. I love. I know I want to, because it's like, look at how cool these flying scenes with these girls in their like mech suits and stuff. And you just get these really strong, awesome women. Like the whole entire galaxy is run by a woman. Her like priestesses are women. Her army is women. Like, all right, Greg Rucka, you do you. You're always great at that. Like, keep it up.
They're not sisters. They're not even people.
They're war. What does it say? We're not sisters. We're not people. We're a weapon system. And that's like what the essentially bad guy says about them in that issue. Why she doesn't want to team up. We've got Project Cryptid issue 8 from Ahoy Comics.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do. If you haven't read Project Cryptid yet, it is an anthology that celebrates all things cryptid. Ahoy, just going to throw this out there. I know I do every time, but if you're going to keep making a book about cryptids, I want you to call Monica Gallagher and get her to do an issue. Monica, is Monica Comics on the internet, Monica Gallagher, she has an entire series of cryptids that she does for every single state. I'm waiting for her to get called on this project.
Did she do Florida Man?
She didn't. She's done Florida, so she's done the Skunk Ape.
Okay.
Yeah,
but not Florida Man.
Not in the way this one does it. I love this issue because it does combine the Florida Man and the cryptid Skunk Ape together. But we're gonna start with before we get there to the Jersey Devil.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Go ahead. You can talk about all the ones I read too.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I don't know what you're going to talk about.
Well, it's kind of about the Jersey Devil, except the Jersey Devil here is actually a real devil, and.
Oh, sorry.
How do we signal? So, guys, I actually do this live. Everything that you see, most people talk to me in the store. They go, "Oh, I thought that did it on its own."
No,
we open the thing. No, I actually have to select here, and I have to choose like the thing, and then zoom in on it and zoom around. So it takes a minute, but we have to give each other signals. So we're gonna get it together while we're here together.
Why we aren't normally on camera together?
Exactly. It's a lot at once. But that said, this Jersey Devil is a sentient being. I already showed this. Is a sentient being, anthropomorphic Jersey Devil, and he is mad, isn't he, Shannon?
He is trying to sue the actual Jersey Devil hockey team because he thinks that they have essentially culturally appropriated his name, and he would like them to not do that. And we get to see how lawsuits play out in their world. And then the second story is all about the Florida Man and the Skunk Ape. Yeah. The combination of the two things. If you are a Floridian, you know the Skunk Ape. You've heard the story of essentially Bigfoot's cousin. Right.
Floridian cousin
who lives inside of, the Everglades and things like that. And in this issue, he's decided he wants to move on out. Yeah. What's he up to, Matt?
Well, he tries to go around and get a job in places. He just really wants to be a member of society, right? Isn't that what he keeps saying? I want to be a member of society. And every society keeps kind of turning him away for all of his skunk apeness, really, for his skunk apeness. And
he gets a job offer of sorts come his way. Yeah. And it is hilarious and completely and totally something you would expect from an Ahoy comic. And that's what I'm going to leave that at. Because I don't want to spoil the ending because it was great.
Absolutely.
You read it before me and you started laughing. And I was like, oh man, this is going to go somewhere so good. And you always know that it's going to when you have an Ahoy comic. Right. One of our old Austin customers this week had posted on his thing, the Ahoy is putting out some of the best comics that nobody is talking about. Yes. And it's absolutely true. And
I didn't even see that.
Yeah.
I love hearing that people are getting into Ahoy. Ahoy has the best books right now, in my opinion. Yeah. Poignant books right now.
My response to that was anybody who lets Mark Russell and Matt Boris do whatever they want is a good publisher, in my opinion.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
You can't go wrong when you let those two just have at it, because they are two of the most fantastic satirical writers who just absolutely have great comedic timing and really off-the-wall, incredible ideas that somehow stay relevant at all times.
Yeah, if you're looking for a lot of current events that are going on and a satire of current events going on, you should read Ahoy Comics.
You should.
If you don't like satire of current events in your comics,
do not read Ahoy Comics. But if you just like to laugh, you're going to find a lot of humor in them.
Absolutely.
We've got the Ministry of Compliance issue 5 from IDW, and this is one of the IDW originals, which we don't talk about near enough because we're always on Turtles. Oh, sorry.
I looked at you because we were talking about to figure this out. Okay.
Sorry, you looked at me. I thought it was time.
I'm just like looking at you. You're my wife.
But if you have not read Ministry of Compliance, this is all about a group of aliens who had moved into our world that were supposed to do a massive alien invasion. Only problem is that they were here for so long that they created Ministry, their own governmental system, essentially. And the Ministry of Compliance has always been one woman who goes around and just kills people with her giant katana sword if they don't fall in line. Well, in issue 1, something happened back home. We still don't know what. They lost contact with all of the alien leaders, and it's like, I guess the rebellion is just, the invasion is just off. Well, she's like, we got to go figure this out. We got to get everybody back in line. She takes what is called, what is a biracial alien with her, an alien-human hybrid, who she's been training to be her new assistant. And over the course of the last 5 books, we have found out that there is some uprisings going on all sides. There's some underhandedness. There's some twists. There's some turns. This, to me, is one of the best books nobody is talking about.
Dang.
This has such a cinematic feel to it. Like, every time I read it, I feel like I watched a movie or another episode of a TV show. It's so good. It has all those, hits that, it hits all the beats that you expect from it. It gives you, like I said, twists and turns. Each character, there's a relationship between every character in some way that, crisscrosses and does different things. It's so good. And I don't know why more people aren't talking about it. Again, because I think the IDW originals just get lost in all the Turtles, Pony power that we have coming from Sonic, all their big LP. But this book is so good. And I believe this is the end of this arc. And we're going to hit another arc from this, which I'm so happy to hear, because this book was it's just fantastic. Expect this to be listed in some kind of Batastic Awards next year, because I really like it.
Everything that IDW originals, like you said, every single one of them has been like, wow, that's a fascinating concept.
That's a fascinating concept.
Way to go.
Yeah, we don't talk about just the power of a concept enough, which I think could have been a whole nother class in our Slam Academy this year. It's just the concept and concept development before you even get to characters and things like that.
It could, and you read a lot of books, so you know that concepts are sometimes done really well, and sometimes it's like, oh, you had a great concept, but the story kind of fell flat, but the concept was amazing, and that's definitely something that we could talk to with kids about how to get there, how to get it going.
How to get it going. And adults, if you want to have that conversation, I'm always happy to a script doctor your concept for you.
Absolutely.
Up next,
Acolyte
from issue 5 from Concrete Comics. This is one of those great superhero comics from a small press publisher. I'd love to see how small press creators and indie creators come up with their own superhero universes and build out from there. Acolyte has been given all these powers, and he had his training over the last 5 issues, and he's on this time, he's out in space, and he's trying to figure out the people who are attacking the Earth. He's gone after them, and in the process of it, he kind of comes across this other ship, and they're like, hey, we're in danger. This other group attacked us, we're kind of stuck. It's almost finding the scrolls in the middle of space, like Captain Marvel kind of thing. And he's like, it's not my job. I've got enough people to focus on. I'm trying to save my own people right now. I can't do this. And they're like, you really are going to leave us here? And at the same time, these people come from space and start attacking them, further in space and start attacking them. And he's like, I can't leave innocent people with shields down, getting hurt. I don't know, this doesn't seem right. So he ends up getting in and joining into this battle. But whether or not you're on the right side of history is hard to see when you're at the beginning of history. And so we are going to see how this plays out as Acolyte's story keeps going. He's been doing such a great job of working with the Earth, but it kind of seems like the choices he makes, are good in the moment, but it keeps opening up to bigger and bigger, like, wrong decisions, and they are doing a great job of really giving him that. I love the paneling.
This art is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys like your, not even 90s comics, like, it's superior to that, like, these backgrounds are incredible.
It's like your 2010 superhero art.
Yeah, like, exactly. Like 2010 superhero, like almost the New 52 kind of stuff, where that art was really, really good at that time. And
who's the artist on it? Because it is a small press.
It is small. Like, honestly, art is superior to the Marvel and DC books I'm seeing.
Bruno Lima is,
Bruno Lima. Like, this is fantastic super. Actually, can you show that?
Yeah.
I want you guys to see this, how he zooms in here. He's like flying.
The paneling ideas.
Yeah. Incredible. And look how it gets closer and closer as it goes on. If you guys are looking for a superhero book, and you kind of need a change up from your Marvel and DC, this might be a good one to check out. And I think we have all the issues.
We do have all the issues, yeah.
Concrete Comics. So we know what you're talking about. Concrete Comics. It's cool.
Toy, issue 5 from Keenspot.
I love my toy.
You could not have come up with one of the more adorable concepts in the world than having a toy rabbit who makes more adorable toys.
Mm-hmm.
And in this issue, there is a young man who goes to work at a nursing home calling bingo, and a elderly rhinoceros claims he has bingo, only to find out that he did not, because he misheard it. And he gets very upset that this kid is claiming that he did not get bingo, so he decides to create a kaiju ray that helps, that is going to make all of the senior citizens in the nursing home giant kaiju, so that nobody can deny the senior citizens what they want ever again. Meanwhile, Toy is working in his lab and creates an adorable dolly who he accidentally puts the wrong chip in, who is not a happy, huggy doll that he thought he was creating. But he gets the kaiju radar that goes off, and so Toy and his friends must go out and try to stop these senior citizens. And the way they do it is the most all ages adorable fun that you're ever going to have. So if you haven't read Toy yet, they're anthology-esque, they're one-shots, essentially. You can pick up any of them. He's got an alligator best friend and a little girl inventor that he hangs out with, and they're always just making something. It's very Phineas and Ferb-esque, so if you have young kids who like Phineas and Ferb, this is a great comic to hand them.
And they have a little bit more of the poop fart humor that Captain Underpants has. So if you do have kids who like that and they like reading Captain Underpants, this might be a good one to read together, because as adults we enjoy it too. So
yeah, it's like Shrek. You get the jokes and you think it's fun too.
Absolutely. Hey, Ram said National Superhero Day is today.
Hey! Happy Superhero Day, everybody.
Absolutely. Also, thanks, Ram. Sorry, guys, I'm not in the chat tonight. Normally I'm responding to everybody, but I'm here. So it looks like Daniel said hello, and Anthony's there, and some cool folks. So hi, guys.
Hi, guys. We've got
Tales
of the Bazaar number 5, and this is from Adrin Productions. And last issue, I kind of talked about how it felt like it left us on a cliffhanger, and I was like, I wonder if they're going to pick up where they left off, because it's kind of been almost anthology-esque with this series. But it did actually pick up. So we have a woman who is like an evil sorceress who is trying to fuel her way out of this dark space by getting stories. And it's like, if she collects stories in her crystal ball, maybe she'll be able to get out. And last time she started telling us a story about a hunter who was like, oh, I'm this big game hunter, but he's also like an astronaut, like traveling through space and stuff. And he's like trying to find all this big game in different places. And on this last issue, he met an alien who was like, I am the big game hunter of all big game hunters. I have never not caught my species. And you knew it was coming. But when you get to this issue, of course, he's like, hey, I'm actually hunting you, essentially, kind of thing. The one species I haven't hunted is humans, and I'm ready to catch you. And he's like, you're supposed to be the greatest hunter, so if you're good at hunting and tracking, and I want to create the greatest prey ever, catch the greatest prey ever, you're going to be that for me. And so he gives our cocky hunter a few hours head start before he comes after them, and we're gonna see. We still don't quite get the answer to whether or not the hunter survives. We just kind of set up that situation for us to get going in this issue, and even our sorceress is like, you can't leave us there as the story stops. So we're getting some cliffhangers to keep going. So the last 4, 5, and at least 6 are going to have one continuing arc go through them as we build towards whether or not this woman is going to ever get out of this dark hole that she's been kept in. All right, next up, we have Rare Flavors, issue 5 from Boom Studios and the fantastic team of Ram V and Felipe Andrade, who brought us The Many Deaths of Layla Starr, which is still in my top faves. I love that book so much. And this is essentially kind of like your food manga in comic form kind of situation. It's such a good story from Ram and Felipe, and we follow along. God, I just love Felipe. Like, just makes it so cool. We follow along as a demon has decided, he needs to collect all of his stories, and he's a big foodie, and so he wants to go on this adventure and kind of take us to places and find all of the food. Thing is that he is a demon, and his demon characteristic is that he eats the people that make him the food, because that's how you get the
I know that
best preparation.
I never got that far. What issue was that in? Was it?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
Yes,
is that what was going on?
Yeah.
I didn't get that.
And so and so it's great because he is supposed to be trying to reform himself, and he's teamed up with a filmmaker because he wants to Anthony Bourdain it. He's always mentioning that Bourdain did it, so I thought I could do it and reform myself. It's not necessarily going in the ways that he thought, but he has inspired this one person. And there's actually this beautiful theme in this issue where it's we all sit there and we talk about I have to leave this massive legacy. I hope I can impact every human in the entire world. And maybe actually just fully changing the heart of one person is actually the legacy, is this beautiful sentiment that he starts to talk about in this. But one of the things I love about it is you do actually get your recipes in that food manga style. So when he goes to a place to get the food, it's and I prepared this dish, and as the story's going, they just keep giving you the instructions and the how-to, which I know you're a big food manga guy.
I am. I stopped reading this book because I was told that issue 4 was going to be the final issue, and now we're on issue 5, and so is it still...
6 is going to be the final issue.
Okay, so now I should just wait again for the trade pair, because I was like, man, should I catch up? And I was like, okay, if 4 is the final one, I'll just read the trade. Now there's 2 more. Okay.
It does say to be concluded, so
okay.
Next time is going to be
fine. That's
awesome.
A good trade break. But yeah, if you guys, food manga's great.
Food manga. What's your favorite food manga? If somebody was going to go out and buy a food manga,
Oishinbo is the one to go with. It's Oishinbo, and it's about a food critic who goes around trying to make Japan's ultimate menu, and he just goes around and tries delicious restaurants. There is not, however, any conflict, any action, or any fun, for that matter. It's not really it's got jokes.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have any Rock'em Sock'em robots.
Right.
So a lot of people lately have been asking me if Delicious Dungeon is the best one, because they've seen, I guess there's an anime now of Delicious Dungeon that Netflix is
Delicious
pushing out.
in Dungeon, right? Isn't that the
It's
full
just
name?
called Delicious Dungeon.
I thought the thing in
alliteration.
the bathroom said Delicious in Dungeon.
Oh.
I don't know.
Maybe everybody just says Delicious Dungeon.
Right, because it's so tiny of a word on the thing. I'm gonna look it up. Keep going.
Yeah, but anyway, that one's pretty good. I guess for me, I don't really like it because all the characters that they're cooking up are mythological.
Yeah.
And I had a great conversation with a customer today where they said all of those things, like when they're cooking giant scorpions, it's kind of like a lobster recipe. Or when he's like, and they're cooking frogs, it's like cooking something else. And I was like, well, why wouldn't they just do a recipe for frogs? Because the French eat frogs. Why would you do the frog recipe? Right. He's like, well, I don't know, man. It's supposed to. And it's like, yeah, exactly. That's kind of my thing with that. Whereas I like kind of the ones where they're actually cooking real food, and then you get real recipes with it. And then there's a lot of fighting in between. Which
I like it because Matt went out and started learning how to cook more after he started reading food manga. Yeah. So go food manga.
Yeah, and the other, if you guys is it Delicious in Dungeon?
It is Delicious in Dungeon.
Delicious in Dungeon. Why wouldn't you alliteration? Oh, okay. The one that I think you should go to next if you like that is Drifting Dragons, which did get the alliteration. It's not Drifting in Dragons. They're Drifting Dragons, and that also has a Netflix anime that is very extremely close to the source material. So,
yeah.
Cheers.
Up next, we have Duke, issue 5 from Image Comics, Skybound imprint, and a part of their Energon universe. If you are a G.I. Joe fan and you didn't know that Duke had his own series, guess what he does?
He does.
And look at that. That's a
Destro.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so Duke has recently, in issue 2 of Transformers, Duke discovered that Transformers existed and has been battling with the U.S. government to prove that Transformers do in fact exist, and they are acting like they don't exist. And so he has gone off on his own to try to prove it and to fight against it. And recently he was captured by some people who we recognize, like Deathstalker, and he has been trying to fight his way out of that situation and figure out where he's going to go next from here. We are leading up to some more G.I. Joe characters getting their own titles, like Scarlet. So this is gonna kind of lead us into some of that. I'm waiting for Snake Eyes' appearance. We still haven't had any Snake Eyes, which is surprising. But I know they're probably in the same way that Transformers doesn't want to rely on B. I think they're trying to do the same thing. But this is kind of wrapping up Duke's story for the most part, at least this arc of Duke's story. We did actually order the trade of Duke Volume 1 today. So this is kind of wrapping up this arc of it and leading us into wherever we're going to go next. I really like the way this universe has followed the bouncing ball experience of okay, you started here, now you go here, now this one's wrapping up, but we gave you the cliffhanger for which one the next one's going to be. So it's really easy to keep going for those who want to. You're not having to pick up 6 or 7 books at a time. It's okay, Duke wrapped. It's leading into this series. This series wraps, it leads into this. So you're not overwhelmed with all 24 books at the same time. Like some other people have been doing recently. So yeah, it's really nice, really clean way to do it. Joshua Williamson's doing a really great job of kind of spearheading that G.I. Joe side of the Energon universe. And it's going to get crazy. It's already getting crazy. It's going to get more crazy. Charred Remains, issue 5, from our good friends at Mad Cave Comics.
Absolutely. And is that from...
This is Andrea Moody.
Sarasota artist
who will be at SiestaCon May 11th down at the Robarts Arena in Sarasota. So if you're wanting to meet Andrea, you should grab this series and have something to talk to him about.
Get one of them signed.
Yeah, and get it signed. CGC will be there as well, so they can sign, they can witness your signatures. But if you haven't read Charred Remains yet, this is all about a young girl in her 20s or so, that when she was a child, her house caught on fire and she was convinced that there was a man inside the flames who was coming for her. And she has ever since then been trying to follow fires and figure out what this man is in the flames. And she's now created a friendship with a firefighter who's kind of seen that same thing for the first time over the course of the last 5 issues. And in this issue, they are both presented with the actual truth behind the man in the flames and the people who are kind of worshiping that concept and fulfilling that concept and pushing it forward. And they've got some choices to make in this issue and going forward to see if they're going to be able to stop him or if they're going to join him and this secret society of flame obsessed people. It's a really interesting look at the opposite side of Backdraft. There's this we talked about in Backdraft, the magic of the flame and the power of the flame, and it's what if there really was this secret power and the supernatural force behind it, and they're kind of answering that question in this book. The Bloody Dozen, issue 5 from Image Comics. This is a part of the Shrouded College series, which is a new universe that Charles Soule has put out. If you know Charles Soule from 8 Billion Genies or She-Hulk or Curse Words, this is his newest big world that he's building, and this is all about Shrouded College is essentially just this organization that entraps you and makes you do whatever they want. They offer you everything you could possibly desire, but then they essentially indentured
stick you with student loans.
Yeah, essentially. And they very much made that the analogy in the first round. In this one, we see a grandfather, a mother, and who's the daughter-in-law of the grandfather, and the daughter, who have all been at odds with each other for whatever different reasons, but they're all space-related people. Like, they're all, like, trained astronauts at the same time. And they've been sent into space by the Shrouded College with the hopes that when they get back from space, they will be able to repair their relationship. Only problem is what they're sent into space to do is that there was apparently vampires a long time ago, and the way that we stopped having vampires on Earth is we put them in a prison next to the sun, because where else can vampires, like, never break out of? Yeah. And so they're supposed to go and, like, help move this facility and do all this work with it, and guess what? It hits the fan in all of the ways, and now we are dealing with vampires in space, and it gets absurd and amazing all at the same time. And Charles Soule, like, all over the place, like, he's got all of, like,
so it's a lot of legal jargon.
There was, when at the beginning of every Shrouded College story, there's all the legal jargon of, like, the contract you're gonna sign, which always cracks me up because Charles goes into so much detail about the contracts, and, like, you're like, where are they getting screwed? There it is. Charles made it abundantly clear. If you read 8 Billion Genies, there's, like, a whole issue that's just a contract, which is amazing.
Or She-Hulk.
He does a really great job of doing that. Charles Soule is still a certified attorney.
Somebody told me once, they said, why is there so much legal jargon on the She-Hulk TV show? And I was like, because she's a lawyer, A, and B, because Charles Soule wrote her, which means legal jargon.
Legal.
Fun.
Charles is so good at that, and he's such an amazing person and always has a great story to tell. We've got American Psycho issue 4 from Sumerian, and this is the end of American Psycho.
Oh, just a 4-part.
Just a 4-part, which is what they've kind of been leaning into with a lot of their licensed property issues. But this is kind of American Psycho adjacent. Like, we're still watching the Patrick Bateman murders happen and everything, but we're watching them from the point of view of the detective, whose name is Detective. I don't remember his name all of a sudden. He has one, though. And he has been working to... he's been really obsessed with Patrick Bateman and watching all these murders. And now in this issue, he has actually shown up to clean up all of the mess that Bateman has left and is working on through all of that. And we see kind of more to this story, because one of the things that we started out with in issue 1, that's a big spoiler. One of the things we started out with in issue 1 was that there was a young girl who was going to figure out something about her past, and so we actually see and that's in the now, and so we kind of see this story of Patrick Bateman and the story of that girl, and I'm not going to go back anything in the back half of this. It's just spoilers for the end of the book. They kind of connect in this story. We kind of see what it was that she's dealing with. She's a girl who's killing people, maybe allegedly in the now, and she's somehow connected to the mindset of this, and so we're trying to see is she just somebody that's a copycat killer to Patrick Bateman? Is there more of a connection? Is she connected with this detective? We wrap all of that up in this issue, and we kind of talk about that for the first time, circling back to that after all 4 issues. All right, we've got Infernos, issue 3 from Image Comics. And if you're a fan of Rogue Sun or the Power Rangers, Ryan Parrott is actually the creator behind this book. So,
yeah.
I know you've been reading this, Matt. What do you got?
I thought issue 1 was fantastic, and I cannot wait to read issue 2 and 3. I went to read this last night. I grabbed issue 3, and I was like, crap, where's issue 2? I ran all around for about 3 minutes trying to find issue 2. Somebody came in. I forgot that it existed until this exact moment, and I'm going, damn it, I wanted to see Baphomet tell people how to run their company.
Okay, so
that's what it's about.
Essentially, yes. So we are following the Morningstar family. The Morgenstern family, sorry. And
yeah, the girl on the Girl Meets World. Katie Morgenstern.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I was thinking Morgenstern in the City of Bones, the Mortal Instruments series, which is actually connected to the...
oh, is it?
Yeah, the demons and the angels and all of that. But that is exactly this. Essentially, we are doing a Godfather style story, but the Godfather is also supposed to be the Antichrist. He was supposed to bring about the end of the world. He never did. He had children, got married, had children instead, has now gotten remarried since then, and now he's dying. He has cancer, and they're like, hey, you've got to pick your successor. And he's like, oh man, like none of my kids are exactly like who I want to be the successor. And essentially, like Matt said, Baphomet's like, well, you got to make a decision, because Baphomet's assigned to this Antichrist person as like the helper of making his decisions. And I'll show you.
Cool, yeah, sweet.
And so he's like, got to make a decision. He's got to make it quickly. He's got all the usual drama, ex-wife drama, current wife drama, kids who are like not living up to the potential. Like he's got the one kid who's like, I actually want to be a good guy. And he's like, that's not an option. Like, you don't get to be a good guy. Like, we're the devil. Like, the devil is your grandfather. Like, you don't have an option, my son. And he's like, well, can we make one? And so that's kind of what issue 3 is all about, is that son trying to really like push the idea of creating a contract that gets him out of all of the situations and dealing with all of that fallout. I love that they make fake scripture verses on the back that are like quotes from the book that have like the issue and the page number. And so this one is, if the devil wants you dead, they're who he sends, because we've got some people who are coming after the kids for making some wrong decisions in this issue. The characters are great. Like all the different kids, they're so hilarious because they're caricatures of different like demon type things. But we do learn that, this isn't a one-sided battle ever. In the situation, and so we're gonna figure out where this goes. If you like The Godfather, you should probably check it out because it's got a really great like feel to it like that. We've got Dutch, issue 3 from Image Comics. This is the wrap up of this story from Joe Casey, because it is leading us into a new series that's going to feature the team that Dutch used to be a part of. So we're gonna see that kind of come back.
This is an older book?
Dutch is a character that existed before and kind of came back. You don't have to have any knowledge of Dutch at all. He tells you, like, oh, I was an old character. I actually don't know if the books ever really existed or if Dutch is just like, remember my story from the past. But Dutch
cool art.
He's kind of like a Cable kind of guy. Like, he's got, like the robotic arm and the different things. And he's like, oh, I've been fighting as a part of this team, but I hate it. And I'm on my own now. I don't want to deal with this. And he finds out that an old villain from the past has come back, and he's like, I'm going to take them out myself. And he tries to go to the people, though, that used to be on his team. And they're all still, like, they've all given into the government, and they're all working on the government side. And he's like, the government's who put us in these positions in the first place. Like, we don't want to be on this team. We want to be, like, we need to break some rules and break some skulls while we're doing it. And they're like, we have to play by the rules. And he's like, not my rules, not my problem. And so he goes out and, of course, tries to solve this problem on his own. It may or may not work out the way he wants it to. It's going to wrap up here, but we do know that as of today, I just ordered the, I believe they're called like the Bloody 7, the Blood Squad 7, and they will have a book coming out in 3 weeks. So if you need more Dutch in your life, there's more to come. If you find this, I'm Already Dead, issue 3 from Dark Horse and the Flux House imprint, which is Matt Kent. This is also in prestige format, so again, we're going back to that IMAX size. This is about a reporter who is given the opportunity to go to a... You looked at me. I thought you were looking at me.
I didn't nod. We got to figure it out. It's hard when we're together.
This is about a reporter who is given the opportunity to go to a planet that we have found, and I've kind of like put a space station on. We're colonizing this planet with these aliens or whatever. We're colonizing because that's what we do. And so they go up there, and she's with a whole team, a whole squad that's supposed to be going up there because bad reports are coming in that the aliens are getting hostile. And so she goes up there, and she's supposed to cover it all as like a war journalist essentially. And when she gets up there, everybody is destroyed immediately. And so she's been running underground trying to survive on this alien planet all on her own. And in issue 2, she kind of runs into an old person who was supposed to be a part of the safe part of the mission, and she's like, hey, maybe this person can help me out of here, but also like we've ruined this alien nation by coming in and like colonizing it because they were peaceful people, and now they're all like war obsessed and classist and things like that. And so she's kind of like, maybe I can put it all back together, maybe I can make it home, we'll find out. But again, cool art in an IMAX format is all you really need to make for a great story. So if you haven't read it yet, it all wraps up here. Grab all 3 issues. I don't know if they'll put it into that size when they make a collected edition, so you might as well grab it in that size while you can.
Right, absolutely. Do you need some wine? You've been going for a while here, and I'm drinking like all of my wine.
You haven't had a refill. I'm further down than you. Maybe you need some more wine.
Maybe I do. We're on Wind Down Your Weekend.
We are winding down.
I haven't been on this show since like 2020.
I know, it's been for a full one. It's been a long time.
Oh my gosh. I know. You're going to run the thing next when I take over the book.
Oh, okay. I don't know. That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's not crazy.
You're right.
We've got Orcs, The Gift, issue 3 from Kaboom, which is our kid imprint at Boom Studios. This one's a little bit older kid. If you're going to go kid, it's not quite teen, but it's definitely a little bit, there's a lot to it. But this has been really good for kids who are like, I like Lord of the Rings. I've had a lot of kids who are like, I want something Lord of the Rings-esque, and they read this and they love it and they come back for the rest of it. This is all about a group of orcs, obviously, and they just kind of go on different adventures. And over the course of this one of the orcs has been given the power of magic from a tree spirit. And, like, the granny orc is supposed to be teaching them how to use that magic. But, of course, in the meantime, all these bad things are happening, and we're figuring out that, like, what we've been taught about the orc history isn't true. In fact, in this one, they literally finish a story, and their kids are like, you've told us this story a million times. You've never told us that it had that part of it. Like, I thought that the story ended with the lesson at the end right there. And they're like, she's like, oh, well, none of y'all ever wanted to listen to the rest of the lesson. You never wanted to hear the rest of the story. So I just thought I'd stop it right there. Plus, you all seem to think that that person was the hero of the story, and I didn't want to ruin that story for you. So I've never told you the rest. And so it's really cool to see them kind of growing up. Orcs, this is like volume 3 or 4 of Orcs. You don't have to read. Yeah. You don't have to read the other ones. You just, honestly, as long as you get the issues that go with whatever the subtitle is, you're good. Because they're each different adventures. They do all connect overall, like, subtly. Like, they have an overarching theme to them. But, honestly, they're just great fun. And, again, like, your 7 to 11 or 12-year-old kids that are into high fantasy adventures are really going to love them. Might be a little hard for some of your, like, 7, 8-year-olds, depending on their read level. But if you read it with them, they'll love it. We've got The Six Fingers, issue 3 from Image Comics. And this is Dan Waters' side of the Dan Waters Romby murder mystery that's going on from Image.
His name's not Dan Waters' side, like I just thought, everybody.
Sorry.
It's Dan Waters' side of it, because there are actually 2 books. Dan Waters is writing one, Ram V's writing the other, and it goes from the different perspectives of the story.
That is exactly where I was going next. Thanks for the segue. Now
you can talk about the book.
The Six Fingers is the serial killer himself side. So the story is about a detective who is investigating a serial killer who he thinks he's put away twice already, and now the murders are starting again, and he's like, oh my god, was I wrong twice? Like, now we've got a 3rd murderer in the same thing. Where are we going with this? And so that is in the one hand. This is The Six Fingers, which is the serial killer side, and we are following a guy who kind of just had that, like, everything that could possibly go wrong in his life go wrong situation, and he's like, lost his girlfriend, lost his job, had like an accident happen to him, made a big scene in public, and then woke up the next morning and was like, did I murder a bunch of people last night? I don't really know, but I feel like I murdered some people. What happened? And he hasn't been able to really figure it out yet, but in this issue, we follow a woman who is actually the woman who runs the art gallery that he met when he made the big scene at his ex-girlfriend's event. And she follows him, and it's cool because for us, we have never had any idea what was going on because he doesn't know what's going on. But this issue was told from her point of view, and so for the first time, as she follows him, and we're able to actually see what's going on, and we get our first little glimpse of what he's like, how he is the murderer, and how the murders have been happening all this time, and whether or not they're all connected, and maybe like there is actually maybe our detective's never been wrong, maybe there has actually been 3 people, and maybe it's even bigger than that. We get our first little teasers of all of that in this issue. If you are a crime story person, this is going to be a great one. You do need to read both.
Concept. Yeah. Really great concept, having the 2 different sides of it. Are we on 3 and 2, or are we on 3 and 3?
We're in 3 and 3.
3 and 3. And so this is the second half, as it were.
And yeah, because the one hand came out first. The detective story comes out usually the week before, a couple weeks before this one. Okay. I guess you don't technically have to read both, but you're always gonna wonder like what the other piece of it is. It's kind of like the Bone Orchard mythos world that we talked about, like where I was like, you don't really have to read 10,000 Black Feathers to read Tenement, and then you read Tenement first, and then 10,000 Black Feathers, and you were like, actually, I think you do. This kind of has the same thing where you maybe could get away with it, but you maybe can't.
Got it. Does this say E. Lily? Is that Lily?
No. There is a secret thing that I'm going to see if I can find a page. There is a code that, here you go, that the killer writes on the walls everywhere.
No. And so we are finding out the code. We
finally start to see a little bit of pieces of what that code means in this issue, which is really cool.
All right, cool. And as you knew, I was talking about I guess on both sides. It's on both sides.
It's on both sides.
Yeah. Cool. Got it. I've been trying to read that on every week. I'm like, does that say hand? It's that.
I don't know what it's supposed to say, honestly. Like, right. I think it's in the code. You gotta crack the code. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, we're gonna switch to some number 2s. We've got Man's Best number 2 from Boom Studios, and just an adorable Homeward Bound in space kind of thing. I love that they call it Homeward Bound blown up to the size of Star Wars. That's a great description. But this is
cool art.
It is the guy Ben. I think it's Ben Lonergan. I'm sorry. I gotta check. Jesse Lonergan. Ben Lonergan's our friend.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. That's
not right. No. He read that one comic, and now look at him. No. Who did Hydra a couple years back.
Oh, yeah. The Artist of Hydra.
The Artist of Hydra. This is, and the writer of A Good Asian. So you know this book is fire. And it is about some animals who were on a spaceship, and they were the property of the doctor, like the scientist of the spaceship, and she kind of trained them to survive and to have all these different skills and fighting abilities and things like that. And something happens, and the spaceship is blown up, and all of the humans have disappeared, and the animals are left exactly like Homeward Bound. We've got 2 dogs and a cat, and they are having to they're trying to find their owner. And they happen to be on a very hostile planet, and so they are having to fight their way through it to figure out where their owners can go. And one of the dogs has the scent. The other one is very crotchety. And, of course, that dog's name is Lovey. The mean dog is named Lovey. And the cat is in charge, and she is doing her best to keep everybody controlled and together, but nobody's listening to her, and she's having a little bit of a breakdown. This book is so cute, and I'm already emotionally invested in every single animal, and it's already trying to break my heart. And it's so good. If you are an animal lover, definitely grab Man's Best. And if you're not an animal lover, but you just like a fun read, you should still grab Man's Best. We've got Zor number 2 from Keenspot. Speaking of things that just want to hit you right in the feels, this book only exists for that. This is kind of like an Inside Out kind of book for those of you who are Pixar fans. This is the story of a young girl her mother passes away, of course, before the story starts. And she is given a ring by her dad that used to belong to her mother, and it's like, oh, hold on to this ring, it'll keep you company, it'll be fun, it'll be like having a piece of mom with you. And she ends up dropping it down the drain in the first issue, and she's so sad about it, and her tears as she's crying down the drain trying to figure out how she can save her ring and get it back, one of her tears comes to life and is now in the drain fighting to save her mom's ring from all of the like sludge monsters and bugs and things that live in the drain. And it is absolutely freaking adorable. This is definitely an all ages book. You can give it to pretty much any kiddo, and they'll love it. Like adult. It is so good. I mean, anybody who would like a Pixar book or Pixar movie would love this book, and it hits you in all of the right feels all the time. And I just want her to get her ring back. But I also am like, don't let the teardrop, like, he came to life. I want him to live forever, too. Like, I'm like, he's got a job, and he'll probably fulfill it, and that'll probably be, like, the extent of his lifespan or something, and then I'll cry, because if he doesn't stay alive forever. But it's so cute. It's wonderful. If you haven't checked it out yet, grab it.
Big Keenspot week.
It is a big Keenspot week. All right, we've got Dawn Runner issue 2, also from Ram V. This one's from Dark Horse. Ram V is just, like, pumping them out right now. Good Lord. This is your Kaiju mech book, something Ram V hasn't done before. And this is the story of a woman who lives in a futuristic, Earth where kaiju-style monster aliens have landed, and they're kind of all quarantined off, and we send these, they call them IKs, the Iron Kings, which are what they call their mech. They send them out to battle against these creatures, and to kind of just, like, figure out, like, what's going on. They're kind of also, like, they're partially battling them, partially studying them, because they want to figure out, like, why they're here and how to stop them and what's going on with them. And we have this one, like, great mech writer who is always going in the suit. Well, they just created a new Iron King, and it's got this, like, sentient brain of its own, but it links with her brain. And while she's on the other side of the fence where these monsters are quarantined, she ends up having this experience where she gets knocked out by one of the monsters, and her brain and the brain that's the sentient brain within the robot mesh, and we find out that brain might not just be like an original concept, and there might be something else living inside of the world of this Iron King that she's in, and now she's kind of determined to get back into it and figure out what's going on. Really good, as usual. Ram has never just disappointed, and he just builds these incredibly fascinating worlds very quickly. So yeah, we're gonna see where that's gonna take us. So up next, we've got Ghostbusters Back in Town issue 2 from Dark Horse. This is for you fans of the new Ghostbusters franchise. If you are watching the new Kid Ghostbuster with Paul Rudd and all of that's going on, and you don't know about this book, you need it, because it's literally like their story. This takes the two kids and the Paul Rudd character from that franchise and is actually putting them back in New York, which I think is the plot of the new movie. I don't know. I haven't seen any of them. They do look like fun, though. But they are in New York, and they are living in the old Ghostbusters firehouse, and supposed to be going to school and, like, living a normal life. And they're just kind of figuring out, A, how to be a family, and B, how to be Ghostbusters. And in this issue, the young girl goes and finds some, like, slime stuff. And she's like, oh my gosh, there's some green sludge that seems to be making everybody act weird. Like, and so she goes to an old familiar face and is like, hey, I found some sludge in the sewer that's making everybody act weird. And he's like, oh no, is it happening again? And then she's like, what do you mean again? And he's like, oh, so back in the 80s, there was this sludge that was pink that was in the sewers, and it woke up a evil, like, being who was trying to destroy all of the world, and we had to stop it. And so which is Ghostbusters 2. And so, which is my favorite Ghostbusters. I know that's like sacrilege to everybody that it's supposed to be Ghostbusters 1, but I really liked Ghostbusters 2 way better. And so I love that this
I'd like to see it, because I didn't really enjoy Ghostbusters 1,
mm-hmm.
So maybe that would bring me in.
You might like it.
To the franchise?
You might like it just because it's a little bit darker than the first one.
Yeah, I probably would like that.
And so, but yeah.
I like the Saturday Night Live of the first one.
Yeah.
But the rest of it was 80s, I guess. I don't know the best way to say it.
I remember being a kid sometimes, and I loved Ghostbusters 2 and loved Ghostbusters 2, and then there'd be every once in a while I'd watch it at night and I'd get a little scared. And I was like, it's not actually scary. I know this movie isn't scary. I've seen this movie a million times, but there's something about, like, the way that the evil entity was, that like he had like these creepy eyes that like followed you kind of thing, and so it like haunted your vision. Like,
I remember him coming with the carriage to the window to take the baby away or whatever in the opening scene, and I watched that and I was like 6'5", and in my grandma's house we had the A-frame, and you're in the A-frame in there, and they came to the A-frame window to get it or whatever, and I was like, nope, I'm done. And then I was terrified. And of course, my grandma's making me go to bed at 6:30 or whatever, and I'm like, no, it's still light out. This is terrifying.
And they get the baby in the daytime too. So
right? Exactly. There you go.
There you go. But if you're enjoying the new Ghostbusters, watch that or read that. Yeah. Between your watches. Cool. That doesn't go there. That's not a number 2 at all.
Cool. That should go in the number 1.
Yeah. We've got Misfortune's Eye, issue 2 from Sumerian Comics, and this is written by a teenage girl who is an actress, I believe. And honestly, if you're in the Florida area, I know that both of the last 2 issues, she's actually been at Blackbird in Maitland doing signings. So if you're interested in this book and you're liking it, you can actually probably go grab some signed copies from them.
Cool.
But this is by Brooklyn Prince, and she is telling us a story about a young girl who has that general like YA, like young adults, like I've got like a secret power kind of thing. She feels like she doesn't belong anywhere, and she finds out that she is a part of a psychic group of people who have all these magical powers, and her grandma's kind of the main one. Very Halloween Town-esque, like when you find out like your grandma shows up for the first time and you go home with her to her place, and it's like, oh, grandma's in charge of Halloween Town. Very similar to that, except the mom has been kicked out of the town and the culture for something dark and mysterious that she did. And as the daughter joins this town, she starts to see, I don't want to spoil it, she starts to see that some of the things that that her mom is hated by these people, and kind of starting to figure out why. And so she's going to school there to try to learn how to use her powers, but half the people hate her and the other half have love them. And she's like, I just wanted to find a place where I belong, and I thought this was going to be it, but it turns out like, there's always, you're never going to like have everybody love you. And she's kind of having to deal with that, and also kind of figure out like why her family is the danger to the society. Yeah. It's really cute.
Hey.
All right, we've got Feral number 2 from Image Comics and our team from Stray Dogs. Matt, you want to tell us about this?
Yeah, sure. Feral is a book about, well, let's start at issue 1, right? That's what you do?
That's
we
what
started
I do.
Issue 1, there were a bunch of cats. They were in the, what's it called, truck? The people who pick up animals, stray animals.
Animal Pound.
Animal control people.
Can I change it?
No, you can't.
Okay.
And the animal control people picked up the cats, and they were riding along, and something happens to the drivers, and the truck drives off the road. And as they're driving off the road, you hear the radio signals kind of going off. We're not really sure if the animals can hear the adults or not, or the people in the thing. But over the radio, something's happened. Kind of seems to be like a zombie outbreak, and the cats get loose, and now it's kind of their adventures or misadventures, as it were, of them running around in this what appears to be maybe a zombie-ridden planet, and all of these other animals that they encounter have kind of a interesting zombieism about them.
Yeah.
And now it's just kind of follow the bouncing ball through the adventures of them running into other animals that have zombieisms and not trying to be zombies themselves.
It's so cute and so sad and so fun all at the same time.
Yes. I'm going to spoil it because I think it actually makes the issue more interesting. At the end of issue 1, there is the definition of rabies. And so perhaps all of the creatures have some, or the animals, because there's all kinds of things, dogs, cats, wolves, raccoons, all kinds of things have this. What would appear to be a zombieism, but really when you think about it, it's probably just a rabies outbreak.
But for a cat or a dog or an animal, that would seem like a zombie apocalypse. It would
seem like a zombie apocalypse, but like all of them have it. But also the adults, I keep calling them adults. Humans were dying because they're like children. They seem like they're little kids in the thing. They kind of talk like little kids. But they and animals, my animal is a human, obviously.
I tell you all the time, y'all, they're my 2 favorite humans.
Yeah, exactly. She's my daughter. So cats are humans. But anyway, the humans that are in the book are also dying. So
You can die from rabies.
You can die from rabies, but why are humans across the thing like radioing quarantine off this thing? So maybe there's a rabies outbreak, right?
And they do talk about in this issue, they do reference how long it would take a human to die from rabies.
So rabies zombie outbreak, but it's interesting because it's told from the animal's point of view. It's very cute because, of course, as the art saw, it looks like Aristocats.
It does.
So you should check it out.
And if you loved stray dogs and you don't buy feral, you're just prejudiced against cats.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's just not cool.
And yeah, not cool at all. Yeah.
We're also cat lovers, so.
Yeah, it's been a whole thing of my entire life of cats being the bad guys. In stories, and that's not cool.
Yeah.
So.
We've got Blasphemous issue 2 up next from
Speaking
Distillery.
of.
Yeah, that is blasphemy.
That is blasphemy, yeah.
We've got Blasphemous from Distillery.
Why did I read this? Is this issue 2
This
also?
is issue 2.
Who's writing this?
This is Mirka and Doffel.
Oh, wow.
Look at that.
Cool.
That's cool.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Wow. And so it's Mirka, so that means Mirka on art and story and colors and just all around awesomeness. You actually
and it's Distillery, so they're at the top of their game.
Yeah, and you do need to read this.
Sweet.
Because this is essentially that there's no God. That we've basically created this illusion of heaven and hell. And it did exist at one point, but it doesn't anymore. And essentially now we are controlling all of that and the belief system through social media. And that's what influencers are, is people who are gaining followers just to get people to believe in them so that they can gain, this energy, this power for the other side. And we are following a specific influencer who has been at this now for 600 years in various different ways. And we find out that now she doesn't want to do it and she doesn't want to live the life, and she's a singer and she's the most popular singer in the whole wide world, and she's kind of just like, oh, I don't want to do this. I want to find out who I am. I want to explore different ways. And so they bring in a therapist to try to keep her on track. In this issue, she goes to finally start performing again, and somebody interrupts her performance, and we find out that all of the things that even she's been told might not be true, and we are in for one hell of a ride, to say the least. But each influencer has a person who's supposed to be their handler, and her handler has been like, everything is under control. I got this. But he, in fact, does not got this. And it's going to be some really bad things coming down for him and for everybody around them. And it's like everybody's about to get their comeuppance in issue 3, which all Distillery books have only been 3 issues right now. So how Mirka's going to wrap up all of this in one more issue, I don't know, because Mirka has built a gigantic world. But honestly, nobody writes demons and angels better than Mirka at this point. She kills it every time. And so if you haven't checked it out yet, honestly, if you haven't checked out Distillery books in general, you should be. They're fire. It's some of the top, it's the top of the top creators in comics right now, all coming together to just do whatever they want in books. And
I feel like that's the top of the top creators taking their ideas that they've been holding on to, that are these are some of the best ideas that I've had, and putting those out into their work. Yeah. They're just waiting for their best stuff to come into these.
In IMAX format. Beautiful books. They're also kind of oversized too. They're getting a giant issue, essentially. It's like a double-sized issue almost every time. In the same way that the Scott Snyder Comixology issues are always 2 issues in one. Distillery books are, I believe, 48 pages every time. I think that's the thing that they advertise is it's 48 pages of greatness. And they're not wrong.
No, they're all great. They all have these cool, I don't know if you can see it on here. It's spot gloss covers. They all have that, which is very cool.
It's so good. And you need to pick up a Distillery book. Find the one that's right for you and just start there, and then just buy all of them.
And if you don't know, come and talk to me or Shannon about it.
Yeah. Coming soon to a store near you will be a Somna hardcover, which is the only way I will be able to sell you that, because there is no more issues. But
right, it'll be an ultra deluxe 4-disc
I did not buy that one.
Slipcase.
There is that. I did not order that. If you want that, you have to ask me for it because it's $75. But the regular one is like $30, and I did order that.
Right.
We've got some number ones. We got some books launching or relaunching in this case. With Operation Sunshine already dead, issue 1 from Dark Horse. This is volume 2 of Operation Sunshine. Don't be confused by the number 1. You cannot start here. You can't. If you did not read Operation Sunshine Volume 1, you're gonna be lost. I'm just gonna say that right now because it literally picks up where last page of the last issue.
This is a good crossover between issue 2s and issue 1s because at that point it's kind of like an issue 2, but it is an issue 1, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like an issue 5.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
all right.
Because we had
put an issue 5.
Yeah, we had I did, and that's why I just moved it because I was like, that's technically a number 1, but
that was the one. See how it all comes back, folks. Thanks for watching the whole show. Thanks for watching.
This is why I bring him on. He's the comic relief.
Is that what it is?
That's so cute.
Go ahead, Shan. Tell them what the book's about.
And apparently the old man on every comedy show. This is about a world of vampires that have what they like when they make there's original vampires that are called OVs, and then they make bugs is what they call anybody that's turned into a vampire, because you're just like a bug beneath their feet. They can crush you at any point in time. And 2 bugs have been drafted to help an OV take down the rest of the vampires. And in issue 1 or volume 1 is all of them kind of coming together and building out their Ocean's 11 kind of heist team. And this volume is all about them actually enacting it. Like, it picks up right in the middle of the mission where they actually have a human on their team, and they are going to 2 different places. One is going to like the headquarters of the vampires and trying to take over like their technology and work their way in, again like your Ocean's 11 team doing that thing. Then you got your people who are coming for the information and for the details down here in Florida, trying to find where they're gonna get the stuff they need to actually take these vampires down. It's quite fun. It's quite crazy and off the wall, and it's just a nice little different take to the fact that like vampires came back really big, and it was like, hey, what if we did a heist book, which were really huge last year, and a vampire book, and we mixed them together, and then this is what you get. So
very cool.
I'm
gonna hand those over. You could pass them to me.
I'm so used to putting it over there. I just do the thing. Right. Well, You're so
good at it.
I'm gonna let you talk about
Set in
this.
Your ways. Okay, you get the camera.
Oh man. Okay, here you go. I'm gonna do my best. Okay, what you got, Matt?
There you go. So touch once, and then you have to. Well, if you let go, it goes in.
So you gotta touch it.
Right. So you gotta like touch, and it grabs the thing, and then if you want to get rid of it, you gotta hold it. Anyway, here we go. This is a creature from the Black Lagoon, and we can make that a little bit bigger, like that, to fill out the thing. You're doing great, Shan.
All right, tell them what the book's about.
It says Creature from the Black Lagoon. It's about the universal monster, the creature from the Black Lagoon. And then to make it big, you let go. And then just hit this guy right here. Bam! And it makes it wide. Isn't that cool?
Oh, that's cool.
Whoa! Creature from the Black Lagoon. This is the Joshua Middleton cover B right here that we got. This is a very fun book because it is the story of a girl who has possibly encountered the creature before, and maybe not. She's been having dreams about a kind of a creature-like character, and now she is off in this town, and she is looking for a fellow who is maybe on the run, and so she goes out looking in where'd she go? She goes Brazil or something like that. Maybe does she live there? Was that what it was?
No, she was looking for him, so she went down. She's been living there waiting for him to come.
Let's finish.
Okay. So she has been living in this small town because she's heard rumor that this person who traumatized her in some way, possibly a murderer, possibly just like attacked her.
We're not really sure.
We're not really sure what he did.
I thought it was confusing.
She's been living in this town not for long. She's just kind of been there for like a month or so, maybe, because she's heard rumor he's there, and so she's trying to find him.
Right.
And she gets the local store tells her, "Oh, we saw him today," and so she goes to see where he is, and
the docks.
the docks.
She goes to the docks.
She goes to the docks. You always go to the docks, right? She goes to the docks, and while she's down there, she hears from, like, people who are like, oh, there's another murder. And she's like, oh, my God, it's definitely him then because he's a murderer. And they're like, no, it's the creature that protects our village. And he takes out anybody that's evil and coming for us. And it's like, ooh, what is it? So is it the creature? Is it a murderer? Is it a little bit of both? And, like, we know, I mean, the book's called Creature from the Black Lagoon, right. So we know the creature's there, but she doesn't seem to know that, and she ends up kind of in this, like, Everglady rivery thing, and it's like, dun dun dun.
Right, and maybe we have an encounter, maybe?
Maybe? I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know.
It's issue 1 of 4. I think it's a great setup issue. I'm in. Give me the rest.
Right.
Give me him tomorrow.
Again, never disappointed Ron V on writing. With Dan Waters, who he's doing the One Hand and Six Fingers with. So that team is teamed up again to Creature for us. Yeah. So, it's really great. This is our second book in the Universal Monster series from Skybound. This is actually fully licensed. So this is actually like canonical, from Universal Monsters, which is really cool. I know after this 4-part series wraps, we do get Frankenstein, and I'm gonna lose my mind.
I know.
I'm already so excited that Creature and that Ron V is writing Creature, and then Michael Walsh is on Frankenstein. So you went James Tynion on Dracula, Ron V, and Dan Waters.
And it was
on
Martin
Creature.
Simmons on art, right?
Yeah.
So it was kind of like the Department of Truth team, and now this. And then we're going to have Frankenstein as your, like, summer book. And then Wolfman is going to start at Halloween.
I don't know. Who knows?
I'm excited.
Or The Mummy.
Right.
We don't know what comes after Frankenstein.
And then are they going to do The Invisible Man? Are they going to throw back to Lon Chaney and Phantom of the Opera? We are excited. If you've been in the shop, we got the poster up.
Yeah, and everybody asked me if they can buy it, and the answer is no.
Normally what happens is when you see those promo posters that are all folded with all the stuff, normally you can order them from Marvel and stuff like that.
But the other publishers can't.
Right, and this is Image Skybound,
So, Robert Kirkman, if you want to make this poster available for people to buy.
People are going to buy it.
People are going to buy it.
Yeah, take my
Especially because it's dual-sided and the Dracula's on the other side. Kirkman, you want to do it? Do it. We've got Fallen, Self-Made Man, issue 1, coming to you from Comic Experience. It was in the pile.
I didn't see this.
It's good art, huh?
Right, it's Comics Experience.
It's
Comics
great.
Experience normally has very good books. It's number 1. It kind of looks a little superhero. Happy National Superhero Day. Right?
Happy National Superhero Day. I was like, Matt's going to read this right now. Yeah. This is actually kind of a superhero one-shot.
It's a one-shot.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't get to read it.
You could, it's technically not a one shot. It does say, because it says in book 1.
Okay.
But, like, you could literally read this and nothing else, and you're going to get a really complete story, and it's fantastically done. This is about a young boy who goes
That guy's
to...
a young boy?
Young boy.
Oh, that young boy.
Who goes to a carnival with his dad. And he's like, I was never really into carnivals, and neither was my dad, but it was something for us to do together. And my dad was this amazing person who, whatever I was into, he said that was his thing. And they go to this carnival, and this is page 1, so don't be mad when I say this, but he goes to this carnival, this is the same page, and the dad gets killed. So I'm telling you page 1, I'm not spoiling it.
Bang.
And this is, his Batman moment kind of thing. And so the kid was like, I grew up and I essentially wanted to become a Batman. I wanted to become a vigilante. And so I learned the art. And this art form is, this martial arts, this fighting style. And it's basically everything he learns is that when you do this, it's going to come back on you no matter what. You can break somebody's bones, but it's going to break your bones in the process. And he trains with all these masters, and you're always going to have, whatever you do, there's always going to be a backlash. And his whole thing is he's supposed to be just using it for good, but secretly he's also kind of trying to, like, avenge his father and the situation. And because it is CEX, there is this beautiful twist to that story of, you've carrying around this pain and you're trying to cause pain to others, so you're going to get some pain that comes back on you. And I'm not going to tell you anything else about the book because you need to read it. again, this could have stood alone as a one-shot. It was so fantastically done where you just get all of these little pieces of who he is, and as they come together and as he like kind of processes them, some stuff happens that just was so good. Read it. It makes for a really great idea of a superhero, because one of the things about Batman that drives me crazy is Batman like does all these things and like doesn't really get hurt. And it's like, that's a human. And every once in a while, like every like 16 issues, Batman's like, oh, I broke a rib. This guy, he's like in a battle and he's kind of like Sherlock Holmesing it, where he's like, I just broke 3 ribs, but I took out like this guy's this, and this.
Like Daredevil.
Kind of like, yes, it feels very much like Stan Lee writing Daredevil, where you get the over like analyzation of what's happening.
And then the show, where he actually like falls and gets beat up and fights and falls.
And it looks kind of like the show. It has that like dark tones that the show does. Really great art, really great story. Definitely pick it up. And again, if you never read any more of this, doesn't matter, because this one issue was solid on its own.
Dang, cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Real nice.
Yeah. Life is an Open Door from Critical Entertainment.
I want to read this.
This is a one-shot. It is a wordless comic.
Yes.
So,
another one that I opened up today when someone bought it, and you said, oh, I've got that in my pile upstairs, and then I forgot about it, and really wish I had gotten around to it.
Yes, and I want you to get around to it, and I'm going to try to not share too much from it for that. But you're essentially following a dog who, a man, an anthropomorphic dog, a man who works like a dog, essentially. This book is all about being a slave to the job that you have and the terrible woes of corporations. And
so my kind of book.
He is sitting at his desk, and everybody in the office is just kind of like hiding what they're doing and trying to find their way to like appease themselves to get through the workday. And you get the boss who's terrible, he's all mean, and you get like the...
Is he a cat?
He is, and I hate that.
Why?
There are regular cats in here too, though.
Cool.
So he just happens to be a cat. And then there's like the guy that comes in that's like the client who's disappointed and everything, and he's kind of like a wolf. And you get the guy who's like, our main character is like, you know what? Why am I doing this? Why are any of us doing this? And he just gets up from his desk and he kind of leads a rebellion to go out and enjoy the day. And everybody kind of just goes out and experiences life outside of the office and what it's like to just not have to have that problem. And you kind of just see what would happen, and you see this beautiful story play out for them if you just stop being a slave to the work that you have.
Would you consider it a dog day afternoon?
You know, I really would. I would think it is definitely a dog day afternoon. Cute. He is a good boy, and he lives his best life. It's really cute. You definitely need to read it. Yeah, it's like healing manga. Right, like it just leaves you feeling good.
Ram also says that Fallen might be up his comic and up his alley. And as you were describing it, I was like, man, this sounds like something that Ram like. Ram, I'll throw it in your box. We'll talk later.
Yeah.
Martial arts, Batman, good story.
Absolutely. All things Ram likes. Yeah. Biomex issue 1 from Black Box Comics.
Sweet.
This is such a cool high level concept. Like they went so hard on this one. We're in a futuristic society where basically everybody is what they call biomechs.
This art.
Yeah, it's super detailed. They are all biomechs, and the world is coming for them now. Like now it's like, oh, any kind of humanity left, even the biomechs, like must be destroyed. And so they're coming after them. And the only way to stop this is for people to kind of fight back. And our 2 main characters are twins, and there is a concept that like twins are very unique and rare, and like nobody's born as twins anymore in this time period. And so they're like, have y'all tried the fusion? And they keep asking them, have you tried the fusion? And essentially, like as biomechs, you could fuse together and become like this ultra mech if you're twins, and like that's why twins are always destroyed, so that no ultra mech can happen. Wow. And so these twins have to basically make a decision, like, are you gonna fuse together and do that? And are you going to fight this war? And so much of this is like just really good, like setting up the world and what we're going to see, and giving us like a little lead into some of the characters that might be a part of this. We've got The Cult of the Wilkin Boy, Initiation from Chilling Adventures and the Archie horror imprints. This is something that's we've already had The Cult of the Wilkin Boy happen already, where we saw him, Bingo Wilkin, as a musician, and that he was basically making music for the devil, and it was like, rock and roll was taking over everybody's minds. Well, now he's retired from making music, and it's just a music manager, and he hates it. He hates it so, so, so much, and so he's like, I want to make music again, and he goes, like, to the demons, and he's like, what would I have to do to make music? And they're like, I mean, you can make music if you want to. That's fine. You never said you wanted to still make music. So he starts making... He has, like, a comeback concert.
There it is.
And... What, the comeback concert?
Yeah, the comeback concert
he
itself.
He has a comeback concert. Let's see if I can find that page again. I have a Band-Aid on my finger. It's very hard to flip pages. He has a comeback concert, and while he's performing... Literally, like, people start melting and, like, crazy stuff starts happening. And he's like, he leaves the stage and is like, what is going on? I didn't sign up for this. This is crazy. And they're like, yo, dude, we're demons. You're a demon. You signed over to be a demon.
Right.
Like, that's what we're doing. Like, and he's like, okay, I guess I have to make a decision.
Stuff.
And so he kind of has to decide, like, am I team demon or am I team, like, do the right thing?
Right.
But, I'm in the rock and roll business, and that's really all I care about. So if if you're just looking for a one-shot good time in the Archie horror world, you got one.
And Cullen Bunn, too.
And Cullen Bunn.
Who's been writing...
a lot of the Chilling Adventures.
A lot of the Chilling Adventures stuff.
All right, Matt.
Oh!
You're up for the next
I know, but I can't... We're not going to switch the thing here.
Okay,
but yeah,
I can hold it for you.
Okay, cool. I can talk
All right,
about
tell us about
Sucks.
Everything Sucks.
Everything Sucks is an anthology series, I guess we can call it, little short stories of... a guy named Noah and his friends, and he is a bird, maybe, something like that.
Yeah, he's a bird.
And he hangs out, and he smokes a lot of pot, and is essentially a degenerate in the best ways of it. And in this one, and all of them are anthology, so you can read kind of whichever one of these that you pick up. And in this one, he goes to work where he works at a sandwich shop, and he hates his boss. And of course, again, degenerate. He's very bad at his job. A guy comes in who has been shot or stabbed or something like that, who is a lizard, of course, because they're all anthropomorphic.
Mm-hmm. It's very regular.
There's the sandwich.
I got your sandwich.
It's regular show.
Regular show is very much, they're also like anthropomorphic degenerate animals.
Got it. I was kind of thinking, I don't know regular show. I think I've heard of it.
Yeah.
Is that like Tim and Eric or something like that? I don't know.
I don't know what Tim and Eric is.
Me neither. Anyway, they I thought it was like Adventure Time.
Yeah, it kind of has that, but like adult adventure, which
Time.
Is what the regular show is.
Okay. A very Adult Swim kind of a thing. Anyway, he's got this sandwich here. He makes the sandwich, and this crocodile guy who's on the screen right now comes in. And he's got a big bag of money. And he leaves it in the bathroom. You can switch. And he's in the bathroom. He leaves it in there. And Noah finds it and spends the money frivolously. They go to a thrift store and try on a bunch of clothes and make fun of each other. And as they're making fun of each other, the clerk only makes fun of them. And then they leave.
I love it because they're like, why don't you? Here's the thrift store. They're like, why don't you like go out and do something like big and like expensive? And he's like, well, I'm not going to change who I am.
Right. And they're like, well, you can order better. He's like, you don't have to order on the value menu anymore. Oh, let me change it real quick here. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Did you see all the hidden stuff? There's the Adventure Time bear in there.
Oh, that's cool.
And there's the Winnie the Pooh.
What? Yeah, I didn't see a Winnie the Pooh.
Right down here.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a Where's Waldo. I
don't know who the Adventure Time bear is.
I think that's one of these things down here. This guy, that's like the Adventure Time guy, right?
I don't know. There's Kermit the Frog.
Hey.
That's so fun. Yeah, thrift store problems.
I like how he makes everything dirty.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is leaking.
Yeah.
Everything and Everything Sucks is dirty. Let me show it again. Everything's always dirty, which is really funny. You can see the leaking cabinet there, and Shannon's finger is right over the Winnie the Pooh doll.
I do love that Noah always learns some kind of lesson, even though he's, this degenerate. This is from Silver Sprocket, who just has fantastic books all the time.
They do. It's this weird kind of a humor. Yeah, here's the end of it. But they give you this awesome sticker sheet, which I really like this one. It says, comics ruined my life, like comics saved my life. It's kind of the flip of that. And then what's the other one here that says, oh yeah, fuck you, pay me? which is kind of the sentiment of this book. It also says cash rules everything on the back, but he also realizes that that's kind of not what he needs. He tries to get rid of the money. I love these books. I love the sticker sheet. They're very funny. If you guys did grow up with Adult Swim in the early 2000s, like C-Lab 2020, it's kind of that.
Yeah.
2021.
And they say, like, it's a combination of 90s animation, nostalgia, sitcom antics, and a seasoning of stoner comedy.
100% right there. We could have just read the back of the book.
We didn't need to tell you
They
about
also
it
have all of these, again, spot foil covers here. It's got spot UV on the top and then little foil dollar bills. There are 4 or 5 issues of this at this point.
All anthology, though, so if you don't pick them up at the same time, it's totally fine.
Yeah.
Start anywhere you want.
And honestly, I think 1, 4, and 5 are the best. They went into second or third printings of issue 1. We sold a ton of them, and we can't ever keep them in stock, but they're fantastic.
Right, number 1's still my favorite, because, like, the Christmas decorations in the car.
God,
it's so good. Somebody animate Everything Sucks, because I would actually watch TV.
They've got a fantastic line of t-shirts. Michael, who writes these, Michael Sweater, he's got a fantastic line of t-shirts and things on Silver Sprocket's website, and every time an Everything Sucks comes out, it's the first thing that I read. So if this wasn't Dick Tracy week,
it would have been the pick of the week.
Yeah, but even then I read that weeks ago.
Yeah.
So, and we read Creature early because, we own a comic book shop, we get the books early, but this was the first one I read of the week.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So I'm going to present it, and then you can do the thing.
Okay. We're going to do the book?
Well, I don't know. I was just going to at least say the thing.
Let's do the book, because then we have some context of the book.
For what we're talking about. Okay, so if you've ever heard of a little band called Guns N' Roses, they've got a guitar player you may have ever heard of, who has a nice hat. His name is Slash. And Slash wrote a book. Slash has written a comic book with Tim Seeley and our friends at Vault Comics. And this is issue 1 of Deathstalker, which is Slash's new book.
Yeah.
This is for fans of barbaric or, like you said, 70s heavy metal comics.
Yeah, if you're fans of like the 79, 80, 81 heavy metal, like even like the Serpieri kind of stuff, this is going to be your book. If somebody comes to you and says, hey, I really loved heavy metal back in the day and I want more stories like that, this is the book for you.
Right. And if you told me that Slash was a huge heavy metal fan, I'd be like, duh. Why?
Yeah, I think there's actually a picture of him laying on the floor reading his heavy metals. Or is that the dude from Metallica? They're all the same.
Right. I don't know what I can show.
Right. Because it's a lot of like a heavy metal people are naked the entire time.
In fact, this is all about a barbarian named Deathstalker, who is the last great warrior king, essentially, because we do find out that he is married to a queen somewhere. Yeah. And he takes a woman from her village who he says he's going to save, but her village, they're all nudist. And so he's like, I'm here to save you, but really he's taking her because she's a hot chick that's nude, is what he says.
Yes.
And so he's like, I have to save you from this incestual world that you live in. And so her incestual brother, who is the prince, comes after her because they're supposed to be married. And so Deathstalker has to fight him. And we can show this one, I think. Hopefully. And so he is trying to fight against this guy and try to stop him. It's not going so well, so he ends up returning to a palace that he sees nearby, which is run by technically a woman that he's married to.
Not that bad.
No, there's boobs.
Now there are.
Yeah. I think this one.
And it's male and female anatomy.
Yeah, you get it all. They're not discriminatory at Vault in any means of the situation. But seriously, it's fun sword and sorcery adventure in the heavy metal style. Yeah. And I'm sure
with a lot of comedy.
Yeah. And Tim Seeley is writing it with Slash, and he is hilarious. I mean, the man wrote Money Shot. He's fantastic. And so this is, they even say the cult classic sword and sorcery hero Deathstalker, because he existed before it burst into comics. I guess so. For the
first time.
Oh, for the first time.
The cult classic Deathstalker bursts into comics for the first time. That's like part of the humor. There's going to be a feature film. That's the the funny in the.
It says once again. Like, I don't know. Anyway, it says before leading right into his feature film, so he's getting a feature film.
I think it's also part of the joke. That's kind of the humor of this book.
It's hilarious.
Where it's like, I have always been the legendary hero that I am doing this for the first. It's like, oh,
I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up, and I'm gonna do that while you continue. There was a 1983 film.
Oh.
A medieval sword fighter tries to free a princess from a wizard's castle. Deathstalker. So he did exist before. Okay. Slash is
I'd like to see an interview with Slash about this. We saw a little bit of one when we were in Pittsburgh at the retailer conference. They had a couple of words that Slash said. While they were also there, Vault announced that they would be releasing a thing of headphones that are made off the book with maybe the album art or something on them. They're going to do 12 exclusive pairs. And as retailers, we had an opportunity to put in a business card and win one of the pairs of Slash, I think they're Bose headphones or something like that. And they're signed by Slash himself. He only did 12 of them in the entire world. Anyway, I won.
You won!
And I've been holding on to the box from Vault this entire time because we were waiting for the comic book to come out.
We were waiting for it.
So
here we go.
We're doing our first live unboxing of the evening. We're only an hour and 53 minutes into the show, and we're into unboxing 1. Stick around, you guys. Come about 1 a.m. Eastern, we'll be unboxing.
We're not that far.
We're almost done.
We're
almost done here. We're throwing it all at the end. We wanted you to stick around for all the good stuff. Just cut towards myself.
Bad form on the box cutter. Don't follow. Do what he says, not what he does.
Drink wine and look at you, Vault. Oh. Putting it all nice and packaged up here. Whoa!
There's skull candy headphones.
There's skull candy headphones, and they are Crusher Unk 2 skull candy headphones. Wow, these are really super nice. So the tape has been opened here. As you can see, it's been cut already because, a hat-wearing guitar player had to sign them. It looks like they open like this. I guess I should turn this. Ba, ba, ba. I need the choirs of Deathstalker in the background here. Look at this. Do you think Slash did the zipper himself?
I don't know.
Am I touching where Slash touched? It smells like Slash. Smells like Sweet Child of Mine.
Whoa.
There they are. The Deathstalker headphones. I don't know what the best way to do this is. Right. Here we go. Okay. Deathstalker headphones. And I'm going to turn this for you guys to see. There is the Slash signature right there. Signed by Slash. There they are.
This is the first time I've seen them too, so I'm like, wait, show me.
Right, we saw them on the thing. They what does that say? Slash presents Deathstalker on them.
That's so cool. They are
signed. Very cool. Thanks everybody at Vault for making these. This is super neat.
I had to make sure there wasn't a note.
Right, something in there. Right, from Slash himself.
Like, hey, my buddy. Like.
So, yeah, it's pretty cool. I can't believe I won. I don't win things. The last time I won, I tried to put, I was in kindergarten, and we got 2 raffle tickets each, and I put my raffle tickets in what I thought was a thing for a Godzilla prize, but it turns out that the raffle jars had, ribbons connecting to the prizes, and I put it in the Little Mermaid puzzle, and they called my name in front of the entire school, all grades, and they were like, Matt, you won the Little Mermaid puzzle. And I was like, no, I didn't. And they were like, get up there and get your Little Mermaid puzzle. And as a little boy, I'm like, I didn't. Why would I have won the Little Mermaid puzzle? I won the other thing. I didn't win that thing. And then I don't do raffles.
Aww.
It's my PTSD against raffles. So anyway, it was fun to win something.
And something cool from Slash.
Something cool.
There's
thanks
only 12
Slash.
in existence,
Thanks Vault.
right?
Yeah, there are only 12 of these that exist that are signed by Slash at least.
Yeah.
I think that's all the Deathstalker ones.
I think that's all the Deathstalker.
But anyway, thanks guys. These are super neat.
Yay! Thanks, Vault.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks, Slash. I just sang Sweet Child of Mine at karaoke the other night, so that was for you for those headphones.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah, I hope I did you right.
He's like, I don't sing it, I don't care. Unless you play the guitar, I don't care.
This next book's real cool.
Yeah, this is Mythologies and Apocrypha. I think I said that right.
I think so.
Number 1 from Fantagraphics. And I thought this was going to be a weird off-the-wall book. It's actually very normal.
Yeah.
Did you read this?
I read the first part of it.
Yeah, so this is basically the story of how Steve McQueen and Frank Sinatra ended up in a movie together.
Yeah.
But in that amazing, like, Fantagraphics style art that you can expect. And it kind of tells you, like, what was going on with Frank Sinatra in the 50s, where he was, how he had his show. It actually shows Elvis, the scene where Elvis, like, went on the show. And I guess the band played Frank Sinatra's version of, like, music, but for an Elvis song. And so Frank, of course, looked really good, and Elvis looked like terrible. And then Frank trashed Elvis afterwards and was like, oh, he's a degenerate. Rock and roll music is trash. Nobody should listen to it. It's ruining the kids' brains. Like, I just think that he's terrible and everything he's connected to is terrible. And it was like, oh. And then they kind of show us a little bit about where Steve McQueen was at the time, and like how he was making Western movies, and how he was really big in the Western world, and you know, in that style, and how it was like, okay, he's known for this. Well, Sammy Davis Jr. Went on a radio show. Was supposed to be in a movie with Frank, another movie, I should say, with Frank. And he went on a radio show and said a bunch of not wrong, but not Frank approved dialogue. Like, he was like, oh, Frank's kind of rude. He kind of belittles people. He's kind of a jerk every once in a while. And honestly, like, at this point, I think I might be a little more popular than Frank. Damn. And Frank was like, well, now you're done, Sammy Davis Jr. And so he kicked Sammy out of the movie and decided to put Steve McQueen in instead. And that's how they ended up in this movie together. And we kind of see a lot. You learn it's kind of like a little biographical, not autobiographical. But then it's Fantagraphics, so it's kind of got a little bit of weird stuff at the end. Like, we get to see some ads for Steve McQueen toys, and there's a thing that's like, oh, do you kids want to be as cool as Steve McQueen? Like, if you read this manual, you'll learn how to attract the ladies by punching people and attract the ladies by the stare is my favorite. If you can do weird stares and get the ladies to like them. So it's just... It's almost like just a historical comic, but then it's also like a weird comic at the same time. I hope that the next story continues it, because I really want to know more about the situation. Like, now I'm invested in this story of all these greats, but if they also went in a completely different direction and just told me another story about people from the past, I'd be into that too. It's like Americana.
What was the movie called? Burma?
Yeah.
Burma's the movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. That's the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, Fantagraphics stuff is always cool, especially if you like real world. And
we don't get a lot of single issues from Fantagraphics.
Right.
You know, it's usually a graphic novel.
Right, great graphic novel.
So it's nice to see an ongoing, and it even says, like, it's a new comic book series. So it's nice to see an ongoing, like, $4.99 comic from, $5.99 in that case, comic from Fantagraphics.
Yeah, okay, do more American mythologies.
Yeah.
Or just, I guess they're just mythologies, right?
Right.
I'm taking the name from the show or whatever.
I know. It kind of is, though. We've got Drawing Blood, issue 1 from Image Comics and Kevin Eastman.
And Tom Waltz Ben Bishop doing the art from The Last Ronin. And it kind of almost has like a Last Ronin-y thing to it. What'd you think, Shannon?
Yeah, this is kind of... Oh, sorry. I got excited.
I know. Okay, all right, go ahead. We saw the cover. A beautiful Eastman cover.
Beautiful Eastman cover. But this is, you know, they call it the story behind the story because this is about a guy who's a comic creator who is supposed to be... you know, he started a comic-making company in his garage with somebody that was a hero for him, and that guy ends up being, you know, not the best. and it doesn't really work out for them. And that guy made some terrible decisions and got them all in some hot water. And now he kind of owes some money to some bookies and some.
And it's up to the younger artists to pay for it because the comic artist is no longer with us.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's trying to deal with, you're good, not only the fallout of his friend passing, I guess we could say, but also all of the ghosts that he's left behind. And now it's up to him to kind of solve those ghosts.
And it's kind of like the only way you can get out of this is by telling another story. And so he's got to figure it out. And I do love that Eastman kind of takes in some of the the stories of the comic whenever they jump into that comic book world, and he's actually drawing, Eastman takes over that drawing, which I just showed a minute ago.
Yeah.
So you get a little bit of you get that exact same thing. A guy who is working with a hero kind of character, and the guy who's been around for a long time, and them working together to tell you the stories behind the story kind of situation.
I love that the book that they worked on was Ronin Roadkill,
mm-hmm.
because he worked on Roadkill and he worked on Last Ronin. So it's Ronin Roadkill is the book.
And it kind of looks just like a Kevin Eastman anthropomorphic animal situation.
Kind of. It kind of looks like the characters from Roadkill.
Yeah.
So, which is cool. Yeah. Yeah,
if you're an Eastman fan and you didn't pick this up this week, I think you definitely need to come back and grab this book, because this is made for the Eastman fans for sure.
I think it's the beginning of Kevin Eastman making that autobiography comic,
mm-hmm.
but not autobiography yet. He's still telling it fictionally, but kind of things that are bouncing around in his head about where you start musing about being a comic artist, or a comic creator. So. Yeah, pretty cool.
I have to get a.
Well, we already in Picks of the Week.
We are at Picks of the Week.
We're at Picks of the Week.
Woohoo! I'm gonna kick it off with this one. I didn't get a regular cover so you could actually show the inside.
I do.
Okay, good.
I have all of them from Mad Cave.
Okay, good. We're gonna kick it off with show the inside. D-Prog number 2. Which is from Dead Sky Publishing. D-Prog number 1 was also a pick for me because it is one of those that takes that, crime noir is a big genre for us right now, that we're seeing a lot in comics, and this kind of takes it and just gives it a flip to its side, and also gives us a nice queer version of it, which I'd really love to see. But this is about Tate, who is a detective who kind of just is actually supposed to be, it's actually a deprogrammer, who is actually somebody who is hey, you lived in a cult, you had this terrible experience, I'm going to help you get through that, but also works as a private eye, kind of helping people find people who are stuck in cults and get them out of it. And some, femme fatale comes in and is hey, I want to hire you to help me find my brother who was taken in by this cult. And it just happens to be the same cult that Tate was stuck in for a long time. And so now Tate's having to deal with their own PTSD while trying to infiltrate this cult to save the brother of the femme fatale. And the detective, the private eye always wants to do whatever the femme fatale does, because, and even they're immediately this is a conflict of interest. If we, I can't show you the rest of the pages. If we do this, if we start to build this relationship, if we start to go after these people, I'm already into you. I'm into you. If I go, it's going to be terrible. And I can't fall in line with that. And so they kind of try to push that maturity level of having that conversation, but at the same time doing a terrible job of kind of doing that. But I love this book. I love the character development. I love that it's using the concept of trying to get people out of cults and the deprogramming, but also showing us a different way to look at that, and also still giving us that crime noir, but giving it to us in such a different way, because we're focusing on a completely different, we never get the detective as a non-binary or a woman in general. So just having that already is incredible, but then giving us that really well thought out storytelling is just fantastic. And what a great week for detective-y type stories.
Absolutely. So since normally we cheers to Picks of the Week and things like that, right?
Yes.
But you did finish your glass of far faster than me.
I did. You made a Cab Franc. That's your choice.
Terrible. You're like not even waiting. You're like, yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to, open up another bottle or something later on. I don't know.
No. Oh yeah, that's close.
We don't work tomorrow, everybody. So.
All right, it's the weekend.
It's the weekend.
We're ramping up our weekend here.
Right, you're winding down yours, but we're winding up ours.
Yeah, absolutely, it's Friday night.
Yes. All right. Up next, we've got Spectrograph issue 1, also from Distillery and also from James Tynion, with Christian Ward just giving us this bright, crazy art.
Absolutely.
And a beautiful Jenny Frizen cover.
Wraparound Jenny Frizen cover. I love that this is called Spectrograph, not Spectrograph, like you're normally used to. Should give you an idea of kind of what's happening in it.
Let's get crazy. Let's get nuts.
Let's get nuts.
Yes. Do you want to talk about
nuts, it? We get nuts. No.
Oh, okay.
It's so convoluted.
It is so convoluted.
I'm not going to explain it.
In the most James Tynion way.
I just want to know what's next.
So, in 1967, we had essentially a cult of people who were trying to bring
do cult stuff.
Do culty stuff with ghosts specifically, very into the afterlife and what it is. And we kind of see that the person who was in charge of that didn't believe it anymore and was like, I'm out of here. And then we fast forward to now, and we find a woman who is a terrible parent. Let's just start there.
We'll say they're a terrible parent.
They're a terrible parent, but they're trying to keep their job, and they end up going to...
Single mom's difficult.
It's very difficult.
You feel bad for it.
I think that, yes, there's just only one thing that you're required to do as a parent that, like, they kind of
break.
They kind of fail.
Pretty.
But this is But they are a real estate agent, and they are given a chance to sell, like, the biggest property on the market. And they have to go to this meeting. And this meeting is a very, very strange case of people, because there is, like, the people who are the buyers are on property, but they're kind of, like, hiding. And then there's this woman who's like, I'm the one that you're going to talk to. You don't get to talk to the buyers. But then there's, like, this guy that speaks for this woman even. It's crazy.
Right, who are these people? It's like a Coen Brothers movie or something, where you start asking questions about all these weird characters, and you're like, there is so much that these people are hiding that it just makes your story intriguing.
It
right?
does,
like, you're immediately intrigued, you're hooked in.
And then, like, you go into this house, and she's like, so the whole house is analog, and it's basically like a Diogenes labyrinth.
Daedalus,
like, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like,
and there's a clockmaker on hand who will help you fix all of the house if it breaks down, and you're like, what is
going on in this? And, like, the woman somehow knows, like, secret, like, a little bit too much about the house, even though she's trying to play like she doesn't. It's so weird, and so James Tynion, and so Christian Ward's art was, like, that was the best choice that James Tynion could have made for this, because it's not as obscure as Martin Simmons to where you're confused about what you're seeing, but it's still, like, that watercolory drop, like, I don't really know if I saw everything I was supposed to see. But then, like, suddenly it's, like, hyper detailed, and you're like, okay, so I got everything in there, and then suddenly it's, like, obscured again, and you're like, ooh, okay, what is happening? And so it works really well.
I like the Tom King 9-panel format that has now been made into 16-panel because we're in oversize. But, like, there's this very modern thing, and we don't talk about it a lot on the show here, but it's where you take a character and you have their face over and over again repeated across the page, and the only thing that changes is their expression while they're saying things. And it's kind of here, right? Mr. Miracle did it. You can kind of see it here on this page. And as they're like close-ups of their faces, and all you're seeing is the different emotions coming across. I really like that. It's really easy for me to read because I like a lot of dialogue in my comics and very minimal action. And I think that's the best way to make a lot of dialogue very interactive, like kind of give it an action thing.
Yeah.
This book leaves so many questions that it's one that if you guys read it, you'll probably want to run back up to the shop here and grab a stool and talk about it, because there are so many different things at work in this clock house.
The thing I'm most excited about is James Tynion has never ended something in a small amount of issues, and every distillery book is only 3 issues long so far. So
and this is only 3 issues. It said it's only 3 issues.
know. So the fact that we're going to see James, I'm calling it now, he's not going to end it. He's going to be like continued in book 2 because James, he has so much. He's such a storyteller that he can't let it go. Yeah. And so, they just announced Nice House on the Lake, is returning. James Tynion is I'm not gonna let you get, I'm not letting you go. You're a part of me now. You're in my story. You live in my world. And so I'm calling it now. Issue 3 is gonna end with a come back for volume 2 automatically.
You think so?
I just can't see. First of all, he's already built such a ginormous world. There's no way you're going to tell me a story in 3 issues.
Maybe.
We're going to find out. I don't know.
It feels like this house could kill everybody with a snap, so...
You could.
I don't know. James Tynion is also one for exploring spaces.
Mm-hmm. He loves spaces.
He loves spaces, which is a thing that I really like to... I was talking about this with a friend the other day about how some of us are able to walk into a space and immediately leave it and draw a map. Mm-hmm. And stores that we went into when we were 6 years old, one time you can draw a map of still to this day. My brain works that way. And I like that James Tynion tries to write that into his books with all of them. I really like that about Nice House, and I think I'm really going to like it in this book too.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I love when I write a book, the first thing I do is draw out the house in it.
Yeah,
because it's my
location,
favorite thing.
Setting.
Mm-hmm.
And then it also kind of helps to say, okay, well, these people are having this conversation, but these people are having this conversation here. Knowing where the space is kind of makes that dynamic of how people interact with each other. Mm-hmm. Look at the pandemic with us keeping 6 feet away from each other. The dynamic changed from you and I standing right here or sitting right here right now. It's interesting. It's a different conversation probably for another time that's not a comic book overview show.
But come to the store. We'll happily have it.
Absolutely.
Up next, we have Pine and Merrimack issue 4 from Boom Studios and Kyle Starks, whom I love as well as talking about great writers. This is a couple that actually made my favorite couples of comics for the Batastic Awards this year. But this is all about a woman and her husband who she was a detective and he was a professional boxer, and they met while she was trying to solve a homicide case, and they both kind of wanted out of the worlds that they were in, so they moved back to her hometown and started a cute little private eye agency where they only really help people who are in relationship trouble. But they get called in to help on this case because young girls are getting murdered, which is a little triggering for her. It's kind of why she became a detective, but also why she wanted out of the detective world at the same time. And over the course of we're not going to show that page, over the course of the last 3 issues, they have figured out essentially that there is some human sacrificing and trafficking and things like that going on, and they are trying to stop all that, and they infiltrated the secret society that is doing it, and now they are in danger, major danger, and the only way that they can do it is kind of to keep going back and getting involved further and further in this situation. And again, it's very triggering for both of them, and they are the best couple. It's so cute. Oh my god. I feel like if we were private eye people instead of comic book store owners, this would be us. And how they do it. But and Kyle Starks is such a great relationship writer.
I do like Kyle Starks.
It's such a good book. And usually I'm issue 3 is your turning point and some big stuff happens. Issue 4, though, Kyle Starks, you did not hold back in this issue. And I'm going to need issue 5 4 days ago to be out and available because this is messed up. So go read Pine and Merrimack. It's so good. Which one do you want to do?
I guess we could do that. I guess we could do this because it has the thing, and then we can close out.
All right,
only 2 more left. Everybody,
hold
stick
on.
around with us. I know we're at 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Way over time as what we usually. Who
but
cares?
we're
You're
both here, so.
We're
right.
We're just gonna keep saying the same thing.
This is my annual time on the show.
I like when you're on the show.
Thanks.
We've got Robot+Girl issue 1.
I love this book so much. So I don't know if you guys earlier in the thing I had to write Shannon a note here that literally, I'm just going to bring this in. It says Robot+Girl is my pick. I love this book. It was so unbelievably adorable. Let's talk about it.
And I read a sneak peek. Michael White, since that's the creator, since it's a sneak peek, I read this book a couple months ago. I was very excited about it. And it is so cute. Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, there is oh, hey Jerry, how's it going? Hi, good to see you. It is a little robot who just kind of walks. You can open it up.
Thank you. I was like, can I show it?
He walks around in the world and does things, and he's kind of like a computer. Like, I guess you could call it kind of like an artificial intelligence. And he kind of just walks around, but he's an older model, and he is starting to run down, and he knows that he's just going to be made into scrap for other newer models, which makes him very happy because he's a very happy robot. And there is a girl that he meets. He just wants to help people, and he wants to help in any way that he can. And he meets a girl on the street who is giving out free hugs, and she's like, I've never hugged a robot before. So he gets a hug from her, and we're already past that.
I just showed it. That was the page.
Oh, that was the first page. Okay.
That was the one you just showed right now.
Was it?
Yeah.
Well, I like this breakdown where it shows him in different parts too.
Yeah.
It's a cute one too.
Talk about
every single page in this is cute. But anyway, he gets a hug from this girl and goes about his business, as it were. And he decides that his time is running out, so he should take out his own power core and kind of sacrifice himself, and so that they can pick him up. So he goes to the used robot place and takes out his own power core because he's almost about to run out. Well, meanwhile, girl shows up and fights off some people who are trashing the robot here after he's fallen apart. And girl shows up, and the same girl who hugged him. And it turns out that she's this badass who can fight and things like that. And maybe she saves his life, and they are going to have 87 issues of adventures.
I hope so.
Where they just do things and stuff, and then they market a whole line of plushies and iPhone cases and breakfast cereals.
God, I would love Robot+Girl breakfast cereal.
Dude, everything that you could possibly imagine. It is the most fun, heartwarming thing that I've read in a long time. To the fact where I actually just wrote that on a letter that this is my pick.
It's so cute. I was so excited. So excited to read it. It was so good.
It's so cute.
Sometimes you just need an adorable robot companion.
What if they made a robot? Because here he is sitting on the ground. Look how cute he is sitting. If they just made one like this big, maybe, that had some moving parts. We've got some friends with some 3D printers.
Right. Oh my God, shut up.
I gotta figure something out.
Michael, if you find us with our own robot soon,
right.
don't sue us.
Maybe we'll send you a robot or something.
Right.
But that said, sending Michael things, Michael sent us something.
Yes.
And so this is our unboxing number 2.
I'm so excited about this. Michael,
I am too.
So
Mike White.
Michael did this really great thing, not only for us, but for any store that ordered this and supported it and talked about it. Like, he actually made some really special things for each store that did that, which is super cool. I'm so excited to open this. Oh my gosh. And so they're unique to every single store that Michael did. So every store that supported Michael wanted to support them. And so first of all, he did a print of...
Is that a print?
It is a sketch. Michael did a sketch. It's actually on like comic paper and everything. This is number 9 of 15. He did 15 sketches for 15 stores.
Wow.
And this is Robot and Girl.
Oh my God.
And it's a hand-drawn sketch.
Framing.
I know. I'm so in love with it. But that's not all. He also made us a sketch cover that says...
you could...
show the note that says to Matt and Shannon, thanks for your support.
Wow.
And...
holy cow.
I should have worn gloves. I knew this was in here, and I
didn't
put gloves on.
Okay.
And I'm gonna take the postie off.
Yeah.
I don't want to damage the book.
But
sketch cover that Michael drew for us. I'm so excited. This was the exact one that I wanted to.
Was it?
Yeah. He was like, I have some ideas, and I was like, I just want them leaning up against each other. They're so cute.
That's so cute. And then he signed the back.
And then he signed the back with a little remark of robot.
Oh my God.
I'm so excited.
I'm excited because I didn't know what to expect of this, and Mike called the store a few times, and we spoke. It was very friendly. And I said, yeah, of course, especially Keenspot, we're going to get your book, and of course we're going to get it. And he said, okay, great. Well, and I said, really, you should talk to Shannon because she is the small press Shannon. And I read the book, and it was just completely miffed. Miffed. The only way to describe it.
Is that a good thing?
Yeah, miffed is, it's like, whoa. Is it like blown away? I thought.
Oh, I thought it was like mad.
No, I thought it was like, I can't believe this.
I don't know. I guess I thought I was wrong about that word this whole time. I always thought it was like you were mad.
Blown away.
I don't know. What does miffed mean? I thought it meant that you were mad about something.
I'm definitely not mad.
No.
I want all of this book.
I want
all of the
87.
time.
Now you got me hooked on 87 issues.
Right, 87 issues. I mean, if you took it to 100, that'd be fine. But you could do whatever. These two could.
They could be friends forever.
Be friends for forever and ever and ever. And I'm gonna.
Buy and board this right now.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much, Mike. This is incredible. Seriously, it's fantastic. That sketch is gorgeous and like fully inked and everything. I knew what it was. I should have worn gloves because I knew it was in there. But okay. Thank you. It's so
okay.
incredible.
I like the little thing he drew on the post-it.
I know, a little robot remark. It's so good.
It's so cool. Mike, if you want to come sign at the store.
It's a long way from California, but
please
come if you're ever in Florida. Yeah.
It's incredible. So anyway, everybody out there, if you just want a slice of life in sci-fi world book.
All ages. Incredible story that just makes you feel good. Mm-hmm. This is an incredible issue. Robot+Girl.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Honestly, like, and really, like, you Gen Xers who love Short Circuit and love to see, like, the robot team, like, the Johnny 5 is alive, teaming up with the kid. Like, this is a great thing for that generation to, like,
I don't even know what that is.
It's way Gen X. It's a great, like, nostalgia kick for somebody who's into that kind of thing. It's great for the kids who love robots and stuff now. Like, there's so much, but seriously, Mike, thanks again.
Buy this book. Go to your comic shop. Buy this book. It is the coolest ever and make you feel good about yourself.
All right. And the last pick of the week this week, I'm literally just going to hold this up because I'm not the expert. I am just the sidekick here. From Mad Cave Studios, we've got Dick Tracy #1. We have been waiting for this for so long.
For everybody on the internet who said they're not happy with the way that Marvel and DC are going and all that, great. Here you go. Mad Cave presents you with a fantastic new superhero universe, as it were. And this is the answer to all of your woes, internet. Don't you complain ever again, because here he is, the detective in yellow. The world's greatest detective is back. The only reason why Batman's called that is because they were trying to get a jab at Dick Tracy, who was selling more copies than Batman was, who was an unknown hero at that time. And Batman was 8 years late to the detective game after Dick Tracy. So being the older brother of all of the superheroes that exist, this is the first Crime Stopper. He is back now after 6 years with no series, no comic books, no nothing going on. This is going to be an ongoing series, at least until further notice, with one-shots, tie-ins, crossovers, all kinds of things that are coming at you. Dick Tracy is here. You can open it up. We'll zoom in on the Bat City cover.
Can I show that?
Oh no! I would show this right here. Page 2. Let's show that. Yeah. Look at this bloody killing, which is fantastic. So we've got a couple of city officials here that, if you know Tracy lore, it's almost a spoiler to tell you who they are. They come in this panel and get shot to death by a silhouette of a Tracy villain that you all know and love.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. You can turn the page, and who shows up?
The man in yellow.
The man in yellow himself, the world's greatest detective, shows up, Dick Tracy. And he's here to solve the crime. And then we find out, who is this Tracy guy? Well, he's actually kind of new to the beat.
Yeah.
And this is actually not a sequel of any kind, but this is a completely new beginning to this story. Look how young he looks. He sits here. He doesn't look like Warren Beatty at all. He doesn't even look like the way that Dick Loker drew him with that hard edge nose. He is a completely new kind of a thing. And we get this young Tracy. He's on the case. And in the same way as D-Prog, he kind of has a lady who shows up who may have something to do with the thing, and she's kind of out on the case for herself.
Woo!
And it's not Glenn Headley, but it's somebody who's in there, and I can't describe this. I'm too much of a fanboy for Dick Tracy to try and describe this.
As a non-fanboy,
yeah,
or, fangirl,
yeah.
I do love Dick Tracy, don't get me wrong when I say that, but as somebody who did not spend my entire life reading the strip every single day that I wake up or go to sleep at night, this is it's a fantastic comic. We had people picking it up this week who have never read Dick Tracy who called me. I literally got phone calls that were like, hey, I picked up Dick Tracy #1. Can you add it to my pull list? It turns out I like Dick Tracy. We had people who were like, the only thing I know about Dick Tracy is the old movie, and I didn't think it, I thought it was cool looking, but I'm not sure if I'm into those characters, and then they read it and they loved it. We had people who were like, I've been a Dick Tracy fan forever, who picked it up. This runs the gambit of people getting them into it. It's I gave it to all of my noir detective story people, whether they read Dick Tracy or not before, and they were like, this is just a really great noir story. Barrett, who does our videos sometimes, who volunteers, he likened it to LA Confidential because it's so bright colored.
Which Alex Segura, the writer, said that he wanted to make a LA Confidential style story.
Yeah, and so if that's your thing, this is a great place. But this is, if you've never Dick Tracy'd before, this is your jumping in point. This is a great starting point for Dick Tracy because, like Matt said, he's young. He's not. You don't have to know 10,000 things. We introduce everybody that at the starting point. If you've never heard of these characters before, you're getting a first look at them and you're not having to know anything, which has been a big problem with a lot of the comic series for Dick Tracy, is they assumed you already knew the universe. This assumes you know nothing. And, I talked to Alex Segura back at New York Comic Con, and I was like, oh my God, you're making Dick Tracy. My husband's a huge fan. I have to ask, is this a thing that, is this, how true to Dick Tracy are you going to go? But also, how approachable is it? And he was like, yes. That was essentially his answer. He was like, if you are a Dick Tracy fan, you're getting your fan service, you're getting all your moments. But if you are new to Dick Tracy, you're still going to be able to come into it. And after reading it, 100% agree. Everything, the things I know about Dick Tracy, I was like, oh my God! And then the things I don't know about Dick Tracy, I was like, oh, that makes sense connected to the things I do know about Dick Tracy. But also just stepping back and reading it as a book, it was a well-written book. The art is fantastic. And it's not just Alex Segura on writing. It is also Michael Morrissey. So if you are a fan of Barbaric or any of those kinds of stories that Michael has done before, you're bringing that into it as well. So that's giving you this great balance of two different writers, and the art is fantastic, the colors are fantastic. It's an all around incredibly done book.
It really is. I'm really excited to see where it goes. These guys, again, I got to interview them on the creative team on Wednesday, on Thursday this week. I'm sorry. And they are very passionate about it also. They know a lot of Tracy lore. They're excited to throw not only the lore in, but like Shannon said, make it a jumping on point where you can begin. The way I kind of phrased it to Alex as I was talking to him, I'm like, this issue 1 sets you up for what could be an unlimited number of issues. And it could also go in a lot of different directions, which is really exciting because if you guys don't know Dick Tracy's Rogues Gallery is the formative start to what Batman's Rogues Gallery is. So if you like Batman's villains, Tracy's villains are the prototypes for all of Batman's villains. And we start getting maybe 3 in here, maybe 4-ish in this first issue, kind of setting them up. One of the downfalls of the movie, for the 1990 movie, we're not going to call it old because if it's old, then we have to admit we're old. But the downfall of that movie was that they kind of threw them all at one table at one time, and each character or each villain didn't get to have their moment which would kind of be like the Penguin and the Riddler and Joker and Two-Face and Catwoman and Mr. Freeze all sitting around a table. And you're like, but all of them have their own depth and their own history and they're all these massive, larger-than-life characters. Tracy's Rogues Gallery has that too. He's got Tess Trueheart, and they don't even know each other in this. You know, we can say that. It's very exciting. I would say if you are a comic reader, if you read comics casually every once in a while, go out, pick this one up, see what you think of it. I would say that the writing style and art style really gave me New 52 Batman vibes. Scott Snyder, you know, that kind of darkness to the property, but where you're intrigued all over again, and there's good detective work being done that Scott Snyder brought into that too. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, if you are like, well, we know Shannon and Matt like Dick Tracy. You know, we know Matt's got a tattoo that he got in the home of Dick Tracy on his arm. Like, can we trust your opinion? You don't have to. Google it online and look at all the reviewers. I know Panels and Pages, Tessa is a Nerd. So many of my comic reviewing friends and blogs that we follow all scored this as their pick of the week. Panels and Pages actually gave this a 9.5 out of 10.
Wow.
So you don't need to trust me.
Yeah.
And you don't need to trust Matt.
Yeah, don't listen to me. I am
he was going to be happy.
Dick Tracy fan. Right. They asked me to interview
the
creative team with Joe Staten, the strip artist.
But if you're like, oh, but you guys are a little biased, don't take our word for it. Take the internet's word. Yeah. All the reviewers are saying this was the book of the week this week.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely, and it is.
Yeah. We only have a copy left. I think we only have one copy left. So
this one.
That one, yeah. And the other one is my personal. But now that said, we've got a couple of things to show off here. We are the Mad Cave Store of the Month, which is amazing. And that kind of started, and they kind of asked us originally, they were like, we're going to make you a Store of the Month because of Small Press Shann talking about the books every week. We're going to do it for Dick Tracy Month. And that's kind of how it started. So this is the cover A of Dick Tracy. Mad Cave was so kind of them to send us one last package here at the end of the month. And it has every single... Thanks, I love the Mad Cave t-shirt too, Jerry. Yeah, Anna from Mad Cave sent this over. We both got one. They're very cool. They say Mad Cave on the back. But they also sent over a pack with every single cover. So here's that cover B that we were showing earlier. Here's the cover C, which is very cool, with the silhouettes in the background. I believe this is the blank. Yes, the blank cover. Thanks, Shan.
I thought you were making a joke.
Right, which is really funny because if you guys don't know, Dick Tracy's Bizarro, as it were, is the blank, which was a strange... If you haven't seen the movie, I don't want to spoil it for you. They're in the movie, but it's not the same character. It's also in the comics, though, that the strip came out in 1931 or 1932. The guy who is the blank, and he's literally Dick Tracy, except he's in a black suit and he has no face. Like they just didn't draw the details on his face. Yeah, like the Question. His name is Frank Redrum. Red Rum, and you guys all got it in The Shining, but it was 50 years too late. 50 years had gone by since that character was created, and no one got the fact that it was murder. But anyway, the blank cover, as it were. There's this cover. I believe this was the cover D or E. Wasn't this open order incentive?
I think it was incentive.
Incentive cover, and then this one is super duper cool. I love this. It was in a lot of the promo. Mm-hmm. And then what's really cool is Mad Cave sent us the Mad Cave exclusive cover that you have to order off of their site, which is very neat. I believe these are $20 on the Mad Cave site, but it's got that LA Confidential noir kind of...
Right, I was just thinking it's very Tula Lite. Did Tula do that cover?
I think this actually might be a Tula Lite. I think you're correct.
That makes sense.
Tula Lite Mad Cave exclusive. And this is my favorite cover. This is my pick cover.
Second favorite cover
of the ones that every other person in America could get that wasn't Bad City. But this is the Francavilla cover that has the comic art that is in the movie Circle, which is what my tattoo is based on too. I designed this tattoo, and this is Tracy's first appearance from his very first comic panel. Thanks, Shan. From his very first comic panel, and I put the movie thing around it, but except I did this years ago, and now here we are with...
like 5 years ago, 6 years ago?
Was it?
I think so.
At that point, yeah, I probably designed like 2018. I think I got it in 2019.
Yeah, I think you got it in 2019.
Got it in 2019 in Woodstock, the home of Dick Tracy. And now here it's cool to see the new kind of style of Dick Tracy here with the movie ring around it, and done by Francisco Francavilla, who's one of our absolute favorite artists. And then that we have a Bat City store exclusive. Is Bat City's first store exclusive that we've ever done.
Yeah, the first one ever done by our amazing team of Adrian Dogface Prudhomme and Austin McKinley on colors, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. You want to hold one? I'll hold the other. This is the regular cover, which is, if you've never seen this, it is literally the outside. If you've never been to our store, I guess I should say, in Bradenton, this is what the outside of the store actually looks like. Yeah. Adrian came out in the middle of the night and decided what he wanted the angle to be and put Dick Tracy right in front of the store.
Absolutely.
It's amazing.
Talking into that two-way wrist radio. And we have a foil variant, which is absolutely stunning. The cool thing about this is that the print is actually raised, so you can see the ink coming off of it. And the thing that I really love is that they put the Bat City logo on the back and the impressium about our nonprofit that we do here and all of our works, and that's all written here on the bottom. It's nice to see in full foil.
Which was a super cool thing. Thanks to Mad Cave for also including that. They didn't have to do that. They could have just left it, but they actually included all that stuff, which is so cool. I absolutely love this. It's such an amazing thing. Adrian did a phenomenal job of just drawing that building.
Absolutely.
Our building.
It's unbelievable.
Incredibly well. I mean, if you're in Bradenton, this is also a piece of Bradenton history at this point, because this is memorializing this 140-year-old building, which is super cool.
I had a father and son who came by today, and they said, back when we were kids, I really wish I had, in the 80s, I really wish I had a camera to take a picture of me with my dad standing in front of the comic book shop we used to go to. And it would have been crazy if they had made a comic book with the store that we shopped at on the cover. I thought that was really neat. When we first decided to do a store exclusive, we said, you know what, we should put the actual store on the store exclusive so that, we actually have a memento of it. We could have just had a picture of Dick Tracy, but it's cool actually having our store on the thing, which is neat. And plus everybody wants their favorite Crime Stopper, the world's greatest detective, to show up at their store.
He's going to say that as many times as possible.
He is the world's greatest detective. He was the original greatest detective.
And again, shout out to Austin and Adrian for this amazing work, but also shout out to Anna from Mad Cave, who literally came up to me at New York Comic Con and said, do you think Matt would want a Dick Tracy exclusive cover? And I was like, I'm just going to say yes for him. Yeah. Like, I don't even need to ask him. And she was like, okay. And then I called Matt, and he was like, shut up.
I screamed.
And I was like, yeah, so that's a thing that you get to do. Yeah. And thank you to
And then I got to meet with her in Pittsburgh and rail off Dick Tracy until her eyes crossed. And so thanks for listening. And
thanks for making this happen, Anna.
Incredible. So thank you. It's so much fun being a Mad Cave Store of the Month.
And these are still available.
They are still available. We have a couple more. This is like a run of 100, and this is about a run of 500. So we have some, but not many. Foils, I think we only have maybe 40 left. So we're over half done. So.
And if you're in Bradenton, if you come out for Free Comic Book Day, Adrian and Austin will both be here signing. And again, it is a CGC facilitated witness yellow label signature that you can get on there, because we will have a witness available during Free Comic Book Day. So they will both be here that day. You can get them to sign it. If you're a crazy person and you think this is cool, Matt and I can also sign it, because we are also in the CGC database. So you will still keep your yellow label. It's the first time I've ever been called an artist.
You're an artist.
I could imagine being in there as a writer, because we actually wrote a comic book for a while. That would make sense, being in there as an artist.
Is an artist. It's a form of art.
It is not one that people acknowledge, so I appreciate being acknowledged as an artist. by
Absolutely.
CGC. But we can actually sign it, so it will say Bat City store exclusive. It will have Austin, Adrian, and mine and Matt's name on it if you get it signed by all 4 people, which is kind of cool.
Kind of wild. And it's nice to have a lot of signatures on your thing. Or you can get one of those Dick Tracy cool blanks if we still have any.
We do have a couple left, I believe, yeah.
Or a blank cover, and we can all sign it and write Happy Free Comic Book Day on it.
Or you could just get a blank and let Adrian draw a commission on it for you, which is incredible. He did an absolutely fantastic one. I wish Jim picked it up today, so I can't show you, but it was fantastic. Even Jim today picked it up and was like, whoa! And I was like, yeah.
There are pictures on our Instagram of that. It's we couldn't believe that he did that in the 50 minutes they did. Anyway, we're coming up on the 3-hour mark. So Shannon is going to burn through the other things that are in stock. And again, thanks Mad Cave for an incredible month.
Oh my gosh.
I'll see you on Saturday.
This is what happens when we're both on this show. We just talk to you all night. We've got Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver issue 3 from Marvel Comics and Steve Orlando. There is a new Scarlet Witch that will be launching soon. For those of you Wheel of Time fans, there is the second book has been coming into the comic book format, and this is issue 5 of that adaptation. Rebel Moon issue 3 from Titan Comics is out. This is the Zack Snyder film that recently came out that was essentially Zack Snyder's answer to Star Wars in comic book form. Red Sonja issue 10. I have heard this is the Red Sonja story to read recently. Everybody has been loving it. Power Girl issue 8 from DC Comics as a part of their Dawn of DC, as well as the Penguin issue 9. So if you are loving the Dawn of DC, you haven't picked up the Penguin story, I've heard that this is the one not to sleep on. Night Thrasher issue 3 is out. Yes, Night Thrasher, the one that you were like, I can't believe this skateboarding hero exists. He's back again. Green Arrow issue 11. We've got Conan the Barbarian issue 10. This has been a really good jumping in point for Conan fans because it kind of just basically in issue 1 was like, oh, there was a time where he was doing this other thing, and just basically like washes out all of the Marvel stuff that happened and takes you back to before that. We've got X-Men Forever issue 2 as a part of our Fall of X. We are about to end all of the X-Men because Free Comic Book Day is going to be your launch point. I don't think we're actually to the end, but Free Comic Book Day will have the teaser. We still have until May 22nd for the teaser. Fall of X. Oh. But the new teaser for the new X-Men comes out at Free Comic Book Day. So if you're ready to see what's going to be coming this summer for X-Men with Gail Simone and all of those people, you're going to get a teaser of it at Free Comic Book Day. Darth Maul.
I read this. It's great.
Is it?
Yeah, black. It's black, white, and red. Mm-hmm. They're not calling it blood.
No.
I think that's because of children. I'm not sure.
Also, because if you kill somebody with a lightsaber, it would cauterize it, and there wouldn't be any blood.
Way to go, nerd.
I know.
Way to go, nerd. There's blood in the book.
Well, you know.
So, but
if you're a fan of Darth Maul...
Doesn't he kill people in other ways? Doesn't he, eat people? That's why he's got horns.
I've never seen Darth Maul eat anybody.
No?
No.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
He would probably be pretty cool if he did. But this is anthology, little mini stories for all of you who are just looking for some more Darth Maul in your life. If you watched Clone Wars, and you saw
Phantom Menace,
which is celebrating its 25th anniversary this year. This is stupid. I'm not talking about that anymore. I'm over it.
It's not an old movie, because then we would be old.
I'm not talking about it anymore. Now that we said this Phantom Menace is celebrating 25 years next weekend or whatever it is, I'm out. I'm not talking about Star Wars anymore tonight. Superior Spider-Man issue 6. Issue 6 still going on, going strong. Grab your Superior Spider-Man. Amazing Spider-Man 48, and this is another one of our vampire variants where you can see your giant-sized Dracula as your homage cover, which, again, I think is cool. And if you're going to homage covers, I think you should have to put them on the back so people can see both covers so they know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Predator: The Last Hunt, issue 3. Jackpot and Black Cat. I almost said Jackpot and Mary Jane. Mary Jane is Jackpot. Jackpot and Black Cat issue 2 from Marvel. We've got Gods issue 7, which I believe is the wrap-up of this story arc, possibly the whole thing. The Flash issue 8. Issue 8 of The Flash had some crazy awesome covers, and this is a Matt Taylor cover, I believe. Matt Taylor, the Mondo poster artist. Am I right? Yep, this is Matty. So if you are a Mondo collector, Matt Taylor's been doing variants for Flash and a couple other DC titles for sure. Avengers issue 13, which may be printed backwards.
No, I went online,
Okay.
Looked it up. This is a George Perez cover.
Yes.
That is now in Bizarro. Oh, you knew that.
No, I knew it was George Perez art.
It's George Perez art that is in Bizarro cover, so it's flipped around. But this is the variant. It's not the cover.
It's not the cover A. We've got Detective Comics issues 1084. This is that Rom B Detective Comics. For those who have been asking, Volume 1 and Volume 2 will be out in trade very soon. Batman, The Brave and the Bold, issue 12. If you are reading the Batman, Brave and the Bold, it is not for the kids like it used to be.
Not for the kids.
Daredevil issue 8. All right, here's the thing I have to say. If you bought Daredevil issue 8 and you're like, hey, there's a story that's listed on the table of contents that's not in this book, you're not a crazy person. Marvel forgot to print that issue in that story in the issue. So there is a story that is actually listed on the table of contents that is not actually in the issue. We will be reporting that all of those were missed, like how many we ordered so that Marvel can send us more. Wherever your comic store is, they're all doing that. It's getting taken care of. We will be getting new copies so you can turn it back in for the one that actually... This issue
is missing a story? It's already a $10 oversized super issue. I had a customer who came in and said, I did not budget for my Daredevil this week to be $10.
$10, and it's missing a story.
And it's missing a story.
And it's anthology, so you're not really like missing part of it. If you read it and you were like, it still makes sense, it doesn't matter.
Cow.
That it's fine. But yes, there is a Daredevil story that's listed that is not actually in this massive book. You get more. And it's because it's it's not even it's Legacy 670. It's not even a big deal. But you know, you're gonna get it. You can replace it.
Huge issue. Let me take this.
And then we've got some trade paperbacks that came out this week. The Cole Volume 1. This is a fantastic book from Kelly Thompson, all about a couple of kids who are basically like Super 8ing it. They're trying to make a movie, but they end up in a fantastical world. You need to read this. It's super cool. Very Stranger Things meets Super 8 kind of story. Yeah. Avengers Incorporated.
Is this the classic British Avengers, or is this Marvel Avengers?
This is the Marvel Avengers.
They drew the cover to look exactly like the British Avengers.
That was the point.
It was it?
Yes. This is a series that was extremely popular but got canceled either way, and all 5 issues are collected in here. So, The Cemeterians. This is part of the double feature from Nightfall. They are splitting it in trades, so you're not getting the Nightfall double feature is not going to be printed as a double feature in trade.
They're taking the 2 parts.
Yes, this is the Daniel Krauss story.
Beautiful.
So if you were like, oh, I really want to get that Daniel Krauss story that was a part of that, now you can get it. And apparently, no, you can't. You have to wait till Matt's done. Whiff Wolf is a folklore myth telling the story of Charity Borgendaughter in the 1860s and the wild woods and all the crazy stuff that happened in there. It is a woman dealing with some classic werewolf stuff.
Is this the other part of the Nightfall?
No, this is a completely different Vault story from the early days of Vault that hasn't been brought back in a long time. This is also probably going with Matt for a minute.
And it's, oh my
Look at that. It looks so cool. Show them that. Show them.
Holy cow. Let me bring this up close here. Like we used to do in 2020 where I would hold the book up just in front of your face.
Right in front of your face. This is before we had the scrolling camera.
Holy cow. This is gorgeous. Wow. Okay. All right. Cheers. Talk to you about it in a week.
All right. And this is A Fox in My Brain from Fair Square, and it is essentially a nice story to kind of discuss bipolar and that mood disorder situation, but like, what do you do when you find like a fox like burrowing in your brain? And so it is actually taking that concept of like an animal burrowing your brain for your bipolar disorder and actually like giving an actual fox into the story. A really beautiful story that we're probably going to be talking about, literally labeled a slice of life graphic novel. Awesome. So check that out. And guess who finally got another print? We have Zatanna, the Paul Dini story, recollected, reprinted.
These trades are going for like $100 for a while.
It's because
they're out of print.
And it's so good. It's so amazing. We need more Zatanna in our lives. We're going to get it this summer, just so you know.
It's coming soon.
So soon. Cannot wait. But if you need to get the Paul Dini Zatanna story to hold you over, it is back in print. run to your comic book store. Don't walk and tell them you need this right now.
We only got one copy.
We had more than one. We only have one left.
At this point, we only have one left.
So, yeah, again, in case you didn't hear us say it the 27,000 times we said it during the live stream tonight, Free Comic Book Day is this Saturday, May 4th. We will be celebrating from 11 to 4 with a billion different people, comic book creators, local vendors like the Public Library System, the Bradenton Marauders, the Shelf Indulgence Bookstore will have their book bus out. It is going to be crazy. It's going to be awesome.
Free grilled food.
Food of some sort from the Good News Grillers. We're so excited about it. Costumers with the Cause are raising money to help support research and assisting with children who have childhood diseases like cancer. So please donate to them. If you take a picture with our cosplayers, please donate to them. We are helping them raise money for that cause. You can find the information about that on our Instagram and our Facebook, and we'll be reposting that again this week to help out with that. And of course, we'll be giving away free comics. Just that little bitty tiny information that I forgot to mention.
We will not be giving the free comics. They are not every comic in the store.
No.
They are specific comics, but there's about 40 of them, and you will enjoy at least one.
And if you are looking for things in the store, don't worry. Most of them will be on sale, and that sale information is going to be dropping tomorrow as part of the next set of announcements for Free Comic Book Day. So get excited. It's happening. It's going to be fantastic. And, until then, grab some of these amazing books. And as always, happy reading, everyone.
Thanks, Mad Cave, for having us as the store of the month.
Thanks.
We've had a wonderful April with you, and we appreciate it.
Cheers to Mad Cave.
Cheers. Thanks, y'all.